Hello, everybody. Welcome to Under Pressure, the Under Pressure Twitch channel. Right now, you are watching From the Ink Up 70. Now, if you don't know what From the Ink Up is, well, then I don't know what to say, but I can introduce you to it real quick. From the Ink Up is a, I believe, bi-weekly tournament held for low-level teams, which is held at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other week. If you're interested in competing, then make your way over to Sendu and you can see the upcoming dates for future From the Ink Up events. But today, I'm not alone here on the mic. I have the one and only AC. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm AC. Newer to commentary, but I love this game. Silly little game, love watching it, not playing it. And I'm here to commentate today's great From the Ink Up 70.
I believe we're going to have a pretty good tournament. It's been a while since I've been able to actually watch From the Ink Up from start to finish, or even just really at all. It's been a minute, so I'm kind of excited to get into this. I'm expecting to see some pretty good matches, and I just want to say, like, right off the bat, that these players may be low level, but don't underestimate them. A lot of these guys are really, really talented and have a lot of really good skill in Splatoon. So be prepared to see some surprising gameplay for a lot of these people. Wasn't that right, AC?
Mm-hmm. And first up, we've got Strictly Splatonic with Artemis, Leggy, Mayogi, and Rascal versus Emergency Exit with K9, Cider, Weef, and Jade.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea how to pronounce that name on Strictly Splatonic. Miji? I don't know. I'm gonna pronounce it like that. If you're in chat, feel free to correct me because I have no idea how that is pronounced. But I'm not all too familiar with either of these teams. Some of these names do ring a bell, and I believe that means that we're going to see a very, very cool fight happening here very shortly. By the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this. Probably haven't mentioned it yet. The first map mode of the tournament is going to be Tower Control on Shape Cargo Co. I know that's a pretty divisive map mode. What are your thoughts on it?
Recalling all year and a half of comp. Tower Shape is a great little map. Nice little rush for the tower at the beginning, and the hills on either side of mid make it so that it definitely has that characteristic hourglass of Splatoon maps, but being able to get on top of them really changes it to be able to really get into, like, just, it's the hourglass without the hourglass problems. I love it. And it's got quite the varied tower path. Instead of just straight line to enemy spawn, it goes all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, and then through that last little pinch with the huge unpaintable walls on either side. So it gives plenty of chances for the defending team to take the tower back.
Splatoon 3 does certainly love its unpaintable walls. That's one of the biggest flaws, in my opinion, of the game. But I do agree that this map does have an interesting layout that allows for a lot of stuff that isn't really seen as an option on a lot of the other maps. I will say that this is one of the more snowbally maps in the game. However, I think the way that the overall tower path is laid out is probably the best that they could have done on this map in particular. So that definitely does give it a boost in my eyes. It is still a little bit, once you get past the first checkpoint, it can snowball pretty quickly. But that's not to say that there's nothing that the defending team can do. I have seen and actually experienced myself some amazing comebacks and some really, really close games on this map mode. And I am biased because of these, but I do really, really like this map mode. And that is, in large part, coming from me being a Tent Umbrella player, getting set up on the enemy team's bridge, those grates are just, it's my home. And I feel very, very comfortable there.
Yep. Also, we've gotten a word. That player's name is pronounced Miyoji. So okay. There we go. We know how to pronounce that one now. And also
Miyogi?
Okay. Miyogi? G? I don't know. I see that and I go, gee willikers.
All right. So I will try to pronounce it Miyogi. If I get that wrong, I apologize. I will try my best, but you know, this is a very, very fast-paced game. A lot happens, and it's kind of hard to keep your mind straight on everything. I can only imagine what it's like for these players, what's going through their heads during the matches, because I'm over here watching it, not really participating. It doesn't really matter to me whether one team wins or one team loses, because I'm going to be here regardless. But for them, it's definitely a bit overwhelming. I've been there. It's not easy to keep your cool and keep your mind on the game. So I'm glad that I'm over here in this position where I can just yap my brains out while watching my favorite game of all time, Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch. If for whatever reason you're in the chat and you do not know what Splatoon 3 is, I'm confused as to how you got here, but welcome. I hope this is a good introduction to the game. We have a wonderful competitive community, and I hope you enjoy watching this, but please hit me up. I want to know what got you here.
Please hit me up. It's such a funny phrase to hear from a commentator. Like, yeah, how'd that happen?
It's not really a game. I guess Splatoon tournaments aren't really something that you just run into, so I'd be a bit confused.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody in the chat that doesn't know what this game is already, because I'm seeing some pretty familiar faces in the chat. So these guys definitely know what this game is, and I can assure you that though this game might be familiar to you, that the game of these players is certainly going to be a wild ride for you guys to watch. Isn't that right, AC?
True, you could not possibly know their game. You could not understand. And
I think they've got some stuff up their sleeve that we're not expecting.
I know you meant like this specific match we're about to watch, but it just the phrase "you are unfamiliar with my game" just flashed into my head, and I'm like,
I was
right,
trying to bring that. I was trying to cue into that.
Awesome, yeah, glad I caught that. Yeah, no, great. And even like with the way I interpreted it at second, every game of Splatoon is very different due to just how many different weapons, playstyles. Like these teams could just do actually anything on this screen right now.
There's a lot of variability.
We're just here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm totally down to just see how this goes. And even if I were to be completely familiar with both of these teams, I couldn't predict how any of these games could go. Let alone this one right here, Game 1 starting up.
Yep.
We have, I'm losing track of which team is which already. That's not good. We have Strictly Splatonic on the team on the right, and then Emergency Exit over on the left side. Now, this opening, it seems pretty standard. No, Strictly Splatonic.
Sorry, Strictly Splatonic on the left, going a few members down on that immediate mid-take, although they really do manage to secure the paint. However, that number advantage won't be ignored, as Weef is able to just charge forward with this Splatling and able to pop an early cooler that enables the team to be so aggressive. And Inkjet and just the continued push to the tower, they're able to just get so much early ground, and only now do they go down.
Yeah,
as the tide turns.
Yeah, delayed wipe, but they certainly were able to push past that first checkpoint, which is kind of huge already. And while Strictly Splatonic may have the edge right now with map control, turf control, and just overall positioning, is not going to be super easy for them to get past that checkpoint. It's such a sad stamp cancel, but you love to see it, you hate to feel it.
Yep, and here Strictly Splatonic are the first checkpoint, expending the huge specials trying to get past it, but this Decav is not going to let him by, or at least it's going to just try very best to not. Although it takes one, but it gets traded out by the Carbon, and an Ink back is expended on the tower, manages to clear it as some trades go out to just keep people away from the tower. Seems to be an emergency access to control, but nobody's on it. It's driven back toward middle. They're going to have to stamp out a few bugs if they're going to want to take that tower back. And sure enough, Strictly Splatonic has just reappeared on the tower as the Heavy had turned around and back.
I will say, though, that Emergency Exit is doing a pretty good job at just being able to stall the tower. Like, Strictly Splatonic has not yet been able to take the lead, and it might be a bit difficult for them seeing them being pushed back all the way. But they do get a few picks on Emergency Exit, which could be a huge snowball opportunity for them. Unfortunately, traded out yet again, and it is kind of just neutral game once again, just like the beginning. But actually, as I say that, Strictly Splatonic goes down 3 entire players and is once again emergency exit. AC, what do you think is going to happen right here?
I'm noticing a lot of Strictly Splatonic going down, and yet a lot of them on the screen. I don't know if it's tact cooler or if it's copious amounts of quick respawn, but there's something going on here to make sure that these players are back in the game as much as possible, because that's like the 4th triple I've seen for emergency exit in this time, and yet here they are again, ready to contest that tower immediately. This sword fighting for its life with its bubbler. It ends up in a corner, gets killed by the Splatana. Strictly Splatonic being picked down again, but emergency exit are still picking themselves back up, because yet again here they are, and now they're the ones, and now emergency exit are the ones 3 down, as only the heavy edit remains with a very dangerous tactical that the whole team might not be able to benefit from.
I will say that overall that push might have been highly worth it, because they got past that checkpoint on the right side, and that is something that is kind of difficult to get through if you do not have the right game plan. It's something that the defending team kind of has an edge in defending, but getting past that is just huge. But we are once again back into neutral game, where both players are being traded out once again. However, 2 players down on the 3 players down. Sorry, these Inkjet gets another splat. Honestly, you love to see Inkjet splats. It may not be the best special in the game, but it is hype.
It indeed is, managing to get that delayed quad there, but yet again, Strictly Splatonic is still at the feet of the tower. That constant pressure, a special out already despite those insane kills, and they've just completely taken control of the area around it. This Inkvac's gonna try to do something about it, but this, that Splatonic has a different plan. The Inkvac shoots but doesn't really hit much, as Strictly Splatonic just takes all of mid, takes 1 emergency exit player down, and they're starting to take the other side as well. If they hop on the tower soon, they may be able to get a bit of a push going. However, as I say that, emergency exit's fighting back for that territory with that bubbler. It's really anyone's game right here as Strictly Splatonic tries to continue forward.
I do want to just point out real quick right here that I feel bad for Artemis, the Splatana Wiper player. On multiple occasions, they've pulled out an Ultra Stamp hoping to get some picks, but the special just doesn't allow them to do that, and they get picked off instead, which is honestly kind of sad, but it is just the way that this special works. It's kind of disappointing, but, you know, that's the way it is. And they kind of just have to move forward, and so they are. Not yet again trying.
And as you say that, it cuts to an Ultra Stamp double.
Yep, it's commentator's curse. I mean, with only 5 seconds left, it's going to be difficult for them to try to reclaim the tower and take the lead. And yep, as we see, as I say that, they do in fact not. They are not, in fact, able to take the tower. However, I will say that it was a pretty good game. Sometimes in this map, you just get really unfortunate picks on your team, and you just go down and wipe within the first minute, and then you get knocked out within the first minute. It's not great. So I must say that on this map mode, it's kind of very, very admirable that they were able to hold the enemy team off for that long. What do you think?
I agree, despite a lot of downs, surprisingly. They, like I said earlier, they were always able to come back, but emergency exit just managing to hold their ground for all of that time, not let Strictly Splatonic anymore than past that 58 barrier. It was just such a great hold. Incredibly timed specials, that Inkvac at the end just completely denying any sort of overtime potential. That Carbon wasn't able to shut it down, and as such, they couldn't get close enough to the tower to start overtime. They couldn't get that potential comeback. Just emergency exit was very capable of staying on that tower for a very long time.
I wanted to point out that in that first match, both teams had an interesting game plan. I think it was Strictly Splatonic, whose weapons, such as the Decavitator, I think it was, and the Bucket, and the Edit, I think was the most anchory weapon on the team, just led them to play a bit more aggressive, and just they really banked on that aggressive capability, whereas Emergency Exit, I believe, they had a charger and an edit, which allowed them to hold ground much easier. Less offensive, but once you have that ground, it's a lot easier for them to take. So both of those strategies, I think, do have some sort of merit, and it really just depends on your game plan and your mindset going into the games, just how well you're going to be able to capitalize off of the advantages that game plan actually offers you. And moving on to game 2, do you think we're going to see any comp changes?
Particle Zones is definitely a significantly different map than Ship-Shaped Tower. So I would honestly expect it. Barnacle Zones is a very even zone map, very flat playing field besides those crucial plats on either side of mid. And because of that, a lot of the stuff like the Head It and Charger that we saw last match might stick around. Honestly, though, I could see a lot sticking around because just being able to ankle bite the opposing plat or just snipe it entirely from the other one, all of those could be very good ideas here. And as we see, we do have the Head It back, although we do have a bit of a shorter range comp outside of that. And on the other side, we have a Charger and a Head It, similar to what we saw last round. So we'll see how all of these are used. Also, double bucket. Hello, let's go. We love to see it.
It is certainly an interesting choice, but we have seen some success with comps like these recently, so it's not all too surprising. And Strictly Splatonic is able to get the first pick of the game off on emergency exit and may be able to take the zone if they're just able to find that space. Yet, as I say that happens, but the Carbon Roller does go down, so leaving a lot of space to just be taken back by emergency exit. Honestly, the game just started, the battle's still happening in mid. It's obviously anybody's game. Let's just take a second to sit back and watch how this plays out, because at the moment I can't really see any team getting a huge advantage right here. What about you?
The way I see it, we're getting that, as I mentioned before, crucial plat control. Emergency exit managing to take Strictly Splatonics. Plat push them back. That's a major choke point because if emergency exit controls this higher up area, they have to pass through that area on the left. But that area on the left is much easier to hit if they're all the way up there. Although there is the post-game added very deep left area that can be used to get way around. However, it seems that Strictly Splatonic is going to be using specials such as Zuka to try to get their way back. And despite a Reef Slider by emergency exit, they may be able to actually get that hold. And it seems like they do, as Heavy Edit caps the zone.
Retaking is kind of huge on this map because walkout is just, honestly, kind of easy and really, really lends its favors to the attacking team. So just being able to get back into mid, force these fights that are just more on an even playing field, it's really, really huge. And I honestly have to commemorate Strictly Splatonic for being able to do that and going 2 down on each team. Yet again, like, they're just picking each other off and trading each other back and forth. It's really, like, their ability to get back into mid and just get these picks and just stalling the other team while also being in control of the zone is honestly kind of huge, and we might see a lead flip pretty soon unless emergency exit is able to get their footing once again and push, create their own space, and hold Strictly Splatonic out. It's really, really close to a lead switch. However, emergency exit is maybe? No, we're once again back in Strictly Splatonic. They see it. Like, that was insane to see right there.
Yeah, I think a big key to this map is getting a special in the mid, as I say that, I see the Reef Slider. I see the Reef Slider popped. Sure enough, that's half the zone. If they can, and a lot of people on zone means that if they can carry this out, they can really capture it. However, that Wiper managing to stay on plat really was the key there, as they recap zone again without it even being penalized, and they take that plat, and it's just going to take a Christmas miracle in January to get it flipped, as Strictly Splatonic takes game 2.
It seems like we are at a 1-1 tie right now, and I think that's a pretty good testimony to just how incredible these teams, these players right here, and from the Ink Up 70 that we are watching, that you guys are watching right now. Hi, welcome to the tournament again. I know I already said it, but you know, these teams, they are formidable, and they have certainly got their strengths. Seen as like Strictly Splatonic had kind of a rough opening, but they were able to retake and just hold their ground for just long enough to be able to collapse in on emergency exit and overall just take the win for this game. And we are moving on to game 3 pretty soon, and right now it's a tie, and I think that's honestly really, really cool to see. What about you?
Indeed. Talking about that last game a little bit more, a lot of that special usage was really great to see. Especially that Zuka. I remember that Zuka just really paved the path. I believe it was Strictly Platonic's retake had a Zuka, just paved the path forward for them to be able to just retake that zone, and that was just so important because that take of zone was what they held for the rest of the match. Although next up is yet another very different map as we go into Rainmaker Scorch Gorge, the one lane, unless you're silly enough to take the Greats map.
There is an option, and I have to give the map props for that, because some of the maps on this game only have one. I'm looking at you, Inkblot Art Academy. I'm looking at you. It's so disappointing how you only have one route, but like, I gotta give this map some props, because the Greats may not really ever be an optimal route to take. It is an option, and it can work sometimes. I've seen it work. It's really, really hype when it does. However, I do want to fall back into something that you said these past two games, is that these maps that we've seen after game one are very different from one another. And well, yeah, that does in large part have to do with the different modes that we're playing. It's also, all of the competitively viable maps in this game are just really, really different, and I think that is something pretty cool about the competitive scene in this game. It doesn't look like we're seeing huge comp changes from either of these teams. Seeing a few weapons, but
the crit
yeah.
shot. My bad.
Tell us how you really feel about the shot.
the V shot on the stage in place of the Dreadringer likely as a replacement, because Dreadringer's strength really sets on zones. While we see a very similar comp for Strictly Splatonic, as we've seen in the past, Strictly Splatonic secures the pop and a couple kills. Only their Wiper going down in this opening bout, as the Carbon really just does what a Carbon does on this map and just absolutely paves that initial path. A chain of specials close to guaranteeing that checkpoint, but that huge AoE from Emergency Exit's Tri-Slosher, it just clears the check platform right off. So with two down, mid open as they retreat, we may be seeing a push back from Emergency Exit.
AC, I do want to know, which player on Emergency Exit do you think is going to be a key player in being able to take control and get past that first checkpoint right here for them?
In Emergency Exit, I think it's got to be probably the Tri-Slosher, just that pure AoE being able to spread throughout that very thin choke of the Rainmaker. But at first, they're going to have to get there. As they struggle up this ramp, this Reef Slider coming in to try to prevent it, getting a triple after the Splatonic comes through. Just that Tri-Slosher left as Strictly Splatonic manages to get all the way back up to the next check, dodging the bomb. They're just gonna have to clear this place just past check, and they'll have a great check to go to. With that kill on the sniper, it might be enough, and sure enough, it is as the hammer goes forward to try to clear more space.
I will say that vacuum, I'm a huge vacuum believer. I love that special to death. It's just so unfortunate seeing it fail like that sometimes, but that's just the way the special works, and you just kind of have to move forward. With an wipeout! Emergency Exit, just getting a wipeout on Strictly Splatonic is going to be huge for them to be able to take back their own space. And while it may be difficult for them to get all the way to the checkpoint before Strictly Splatonic makes their way back to defend, as we see right there, it's not able to happen. It is still a really huge opportunity for them to just be able to just reset the playing field, right? Just make things, flip it on their way. And it seems like what is going to be happening right here, as one player goes down, two players, and another Reef-Slider double right before the checkpoint. I gotta say that Strictly Splatonic, I don't know, maybe not feeling the best about that.
Yeah, no, just an absolute bloodbath at the foot of Strictly Platonic's checkpoint. Just people going down, people getting back up as they return to more going down, and it just a continued splatfest, as in the murder kind of splat, not the not the celebration, not the one. Yeah. But Emergency Exit is able to maintain that hold on this upper area. So if they can get the Rainmaker up here and just clear out that sharking Carbon I see just behind the checkpoint, they may be able to try, but alas, they drop the Rainmaker, and all they have left of their name is this map control. This Inkjet may just be what they need to clear past that area. And yes, it is. They clear the check. I believe most of them go down in it. And Strictly Splatonic has the paint lead, but checkpoint has been cleared. That is a problem that does not need to be solved later. But Strictly Splatonic returns to mid with Rainmaker.
I will say, you did say that the Tri-Slosher on Emergency Exit is probably their key player. In my opinion, on Emergency Exit, on Strictly Splatonic, I think their key player has got to be the Carbon Roller, because not only is that thing's fighting capability really, really strong, and that can create some space for them, but also on defense, if they're able to find a good sharking spot, then Emergency Exit has to play things very, very carefully to not just run in and just get absolutely destroyed and obliterated by the carbon roller. And like, I think that's just a huge advantage that they have. But with only 50 seconds remaining, they're going to need to find some sort of way to just push past 39. And while 39 is significantly more past 68, it is not a lead that is guaranteed a victory, especially not with 30 seconds left. With how fast this game can move, that is not a guaranteed lead for the rest of the game. And we see 4 players going down in Strictly Splatonic, which might actually guarantee emergency exit the lead right here. But no, the Edict does go down. However, Leggy, the Carbon Roller, as I said, is able to maintain their lead with only 10 seconds left. AC, what is going to happen?
I see emergency exit. They're desperately trying to get that last bit. This, in fact, may be what they need. But the Rainmaker was dropped. They don't get overtime unless they pick it up right now. And sure enough, they do. And they hold forward and they get to 35. And they break that lead, winning them that round.
That was insane right there. That is what I am talking about. Games like that really show that these players do not give up. They have that spice in them. They have that drive. They have the game sense to be able to pick things back up when things are looking so bleak for them. I absolutely loved watching that. It was a really, really good game on both teams' parts. They both played pretty well. However, it seems like I believe it was Emergency Exit was able to finally just push through and take that lead. Very, I gotta give, I don't know if my microphone could pick up on this, but I'm giving them a round of applause on that.
Thank you, Discord sound censoring. Anyway, yeah, no, just that incredible lead at the end really stole what I wasn't expecting. I was expecting more of the tower situation in the first half, but they understood just the pure necessity to rush forward in that last couple seconds. That easy pop from the Inkvac and whoever took advantage of it. I didn't catch who in all of the struggle. Whoever managed to take advantage of that and go forward. Just absolutely incredible on them, because that won the game. Any second of hesitation, they would not have gotten those last 3 points. They would not have won the set. Like, that's what's crazy to think about. That was 1-1. That was there's your point. That's good job.
Every fraction of a second matters in this game. It's kind of crazy and it's overwhelming, but honestly, if you're anything like me, you kind of grow and learn to love it, and it's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about this game. You never really get that chance to breathe. There's always some sort of objective that you need to be focusing on, and making plays like that, while definitely difficult to do, it's really, really relieving, and I don't know, just your hard work pays off, and that is one of the best feelings in the world for me. You ever felt something like that before, anywhere else?
That's the point. But yeah, no, Splatoon's just a great example of that, especially for pushes like that. Honestly, that entire game, just like we saw the continued very steady play. Oh my god, they've been off my screen for 30 seconds and I've forgotten their name. But like the Splatonic very quick bursts that we saw rushing forward, and the others just steady holds paid off in the end. And yeah, others steady holds paid off in the end as they were able to be alive for that last push. Anyone goes down, like, just everyone was essential there in that last push, which was super cool.
It looks like the next game that we are going to be covering on stream for you guys in the chat's viewing pleasure is going to be Tidebreaker versus Penultimate. Are any of these teams something that you know to look for? Anything that you think that we need to look for in either of these teams?
I can't say I've ever met either of them. But I am seeing that next map, Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track, a very just curvy, up, down, all around, plenty of ledges that many weapons excel on, and many weapons really, really don't. Just incredibly positioning favored map. It's going to be very interesting to see because the comp plays just a massive role.
This is a little bit of a personal bias. I'm not a huge fan of this map mode. However, with that being said, I brought this up earlier. My main is the Vanilla Tenderbrella. And what the Vanilla Tenderbrella has is an incredible ability to to not pick up the Rainmaker, but support the Rainmaker through getting through checkpoint. With that shield able to shield it from the front and paint for its trail, and then you just evac it to seal the deal, getting so many points right after getting checkpoint is kind of huge on this map. And I just love Tenebralla's ability to just absolutely abuse the map design in that sense. Otherwise, beacons are obviously helpful, and evac is a special. I don't know what to say about it. It's pretty divisive itself, but I just think that Tenebralla has its perks on this map mode, and I think, in my opinion, that is its only redeeming quality. I do not find a lot of fun on this map.
Definitely wasn't the best for me. Back when I played, I was a lot of T-Tech and InZap. I was that guy. So while there were some very nice splat bomb, suction bomb setups on this map, overall it was just so hard to deal with the curves, and that's partially the reason why I'm so excited to see how they do it as our next map seems to start.
I want to say, before our match actually rolls on and actually starts, is that while the right checkpoint may be the most common, the left checkpoint still exists, and it is a path that a lot of people seem to just completely forget about. And in my experience, that path is crucial to a team's success, and especially on a comeback. And I'd love to see that right here.
I've been left checkpointed before. It hurts.
I have also been
completely caught up. Anyways, as we start the game, Tidebreaker gets that early pop, that early pressure. Is that a big swig? Huh?
Yes, it is.
As we see Big Swig Express desperately trying to fend off to go down on the side of Tidebreaker, even after such an insane opening, and Big Swig is still alive. Storm, charge. Everyone's back in the middle, but that Big Swig paint really just, and many more, really painted the middle for Penultimate. They try to get it a little forward, but the entire enemy force at that checkpoint kind of just stops it. The double reef slider into a hammer, incredible special uses on the field. Just managing to keep that, but even despite all that, the Rainmaker stays in mid. It's being handed back and forth, like the control the mid of the map.
Seems like a very, very tight game of tug of war. As soon as one team gets an advantage, like that pick right there could be huge, but I do not doubt Tidebreaker's ability to just come back and absolutely deny Penultimate from actually capitalizing much off of that pick. And yeah, it seems like exactly that is happening. Either team gets a pick, and the other team is just right there to create that form of resistance that just stops them from really being able to capitalize off of it. It's really just up to both of these teams to find a way to actually just squeeze in and get a few more picks and just hold their positions just a little bit longer to get that checkpoint, because it can be pretty difficult to break.
Absolutely. And you see, I think the biggest part of why it's just so back and forth is this consistent special usage. One team paints them entirely, the other team comes back with a hammer or reef slider. Seems like that sort of special is pretty common here. Hammer, reef slider, storm, stuff like that present on either team. Just such big paint-taking specials, really keeping that in the middle. Though, as I say that, Tidebreaker manages to get the picks they need and just keep Penultimate at bay long enough to get to that checkpoint. And although they may have trouble turning the corner, the sloshers will help clear that angle. And the reef slider, I'm about to see, yep, there it is, will help push even further forward. Although,
and a
wipeout.
This could be game right here, unless Penultimate is able to find some picks. But no, once again, 2 players down. The Rainmaker being picked up by Tidebreaker and the Carbon all the way up. However, they are able to pick off the Rainmaker. They have some time to regroup and just hopefully get it off of that platform, because it could be huge if Tidebreaker is just able to make a breakaway. I've done that before. It's really, really funny when you do it, but it really, really hurts when it's done to you. That's something that you want to feel.
Indeed, yeah. They approached the end of the goal, but Pencil thought otherwise. Clear line of sight to the Rainmaker goal. I think clear line of sight of my reticle to you. As Penultimate grabs the Rainmaker, heads for this right check skip over here, where you can just pop right over this wall and get directly to the enemy team's right checkpoint. Although Tidebreaker's there and prepared as 3 go down on the side of Penultimate.
Not quite able to find that checkpoint, unfortunately.
Indeed. And yeah, that's just a quick pop, because the Rainmaker still went over the wall even if it didn't make it to the checkpoint. So just completely out of control Penultimate as Tidebreaker re-grabs it, manages to get back to mid, just doing their best to kill Penultimate's attempts to paint forward. However, they do get a quick pick on Tidebreaker that may buy them the time they need to fully recoup.
You know what I think Tidebreaker has the opportunity to do right now? Go for a left flank. I think they have the resources to be able to do that. I really like to see it. You know?
Hypothetically,
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I would really like to see that tiebreaker if you're listening.
I see. I hope not. I see a pencil on the field.
Hey, anything could happen. We've already seen the back and forth nature of this match right here. And Penultimate, they have the Rainmaker, but as we've seen, Tidebreaker, they have those resources and just the ability to just deny them that checkpoint. But with only a minute remaining, Penultimate is going to be rushing for this lead, for this checkpoint even. Like, one step at a time. I can't get too ahead of myself. They are not quite able to find the checkpoint once again for the third time this game, I believe. Just barely away from the checkpoint. The pencil is able to hold their ground, but the Rainmaker and just players going down on both teams, it's not going to be easy as time is just, once again, slowly ticking away. They have less and less time to be able to make the game-changing play, and it's going to be difficult. 19, I don't know about you, AC, but that seems like a strong lead to me, especially on a map like this.
It really does, and what I'm also seeing is 50 ticks left on the Rainmaker and 18 seconds left on the map, as it seems that we're going for a Rainmaker stall strategy to just completely prevent Penultimate from being able to approach in these last 10 seconds. And indeed, yeah, no, this Zap sure is holding that Rainmaker, just completely all the resources being put into paint, and that Rainmaker just gets to stand there, and the map in this game wins for Tiebreaker.
I will say, sometimes it's not the most fun to watch people stall the Rainmaker, but knowing as me myself playing the game, I understand. It is sometimes the best course of action, and especially if there's no other way for you to win, it's just gotta be done, and it is a valid strategy, because as we saw right there, Penultimate just really didn't have any sort of way to get over to that hump right there. But if they did, I do want to just throw this out there. If they were able to get Terra, just delete that Rainmaker from existence. That Rainmaker being right there, it's right next to the left checkpoint. And you know what? You know me. I love myself a left checkpoint.
Watching this replay, watching the the little pencil arrow beam, the pencil M beam just try its very best as the Rainmaker is just out of range. It wants it so bad. It wants that chance, but it just could not quite get it. And next up, we're going to Mako Mart Zones. A staple map. I remember playing this one quite a lot. What are your thoughts on it?
I have mixed feelings about Mako Zones. I don't know how controversial of an opinion this is, but I think it's one of the best designed zones maps in the game. However, it can be pretty limiting and pretty restricting on some of my favorite weapons. I've heard some Tense players say that they absolutely adore this map. Me personally, I cannot seem to get my foot in the door unless we have control of the zone. Retake is an absolute pain with Tenebrella on this map. And just none of my weapons really seem to jive well with it. So as fun as it is, it gets on my nerves. I don't know what your experience is with it though. What is your experience?
I remember having to learn that you really need that. Yeah, you really need that stack. You really need that stack, and if you don't have that stack, you kind of can't control the enemy's approach. But what if you have that stack? Oh my God, a pencil on that stack, a wiper contesting that stack, a head on that stack. All of these just so powerful on that stack.
I see.
Just incredible.
These teams have some good weapons to be able to hold and contest those stacks. The Carbon Roller and Bucket's able to really peek those ledges and just take advantage of the angles on those stacks. It's really, really good. However, the Big Swig and Red Ringer able just focusing more on just holding control of the stacks. And we see that right here where the Swig is trying its best to hold control of the stack, and it's really able to be taken out very easily with the Carbon getting a trade on it, which is, I mean, honestly, kind of good for both teams. I don't know. Oh, also, Tenebrella. Just want to point that out there.
The Zuka one.
Yeah. Oof! A double? Was that a Reef Slider double? You love to see it.
Incredible, yeah, and as we see this off the back of that Reef Slider double, Penultimate with the Dread Ranker really pushes up to that stack. They are plat rather. They get their tactical cooler up, but here comes that signature. Here comes that signature Reef Slider into Wipeout, the zone special.
It's certainly a signature of the Reef Slider. Well, I don't know. Dreadringer just loves to do that in zones. It's something that I've noticed. And again, a Reef Slider coming out and almost completely capping zone. Unfortunately, not able to just get that last bit of pain with just the heavy edit on the side of Penultimate. It might be Tidebreaker's time to really just take control and, yeah, just delay wipe them. But a cooler does come out, so this could be Penultimate's time to really force themselves back in. But with only 30 ticks left for Tidebreaker to take a KO on this, I don't know. It seems pretty... I don't know. More players go down. However...
Oh, hold on. Reef Slider spotted? Nah, never mind.
No.
And you're saying it could be their time, but I disagree, as that I think it was that wipers thing, actually, just being able to completely stop people. They rush to the zone, but they just don't see the wiper in the process, and is able to just pick them off so easily. And really, that's what led to such a win there, being able to entirely keep them off the zone. A 2-0 for Penultimate. 2-0 for Tidebreaker. However, this is a play all 3 set, if I remember correctly, so we will be seeing a game 3.
Penultimate really has to keep their cool and just be able to... I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just lost track of my words. They got to keep their cool, keep their head in the game, and just focus on taking this last game. They might have lost the set, but it is their chance to really prove themselves and hopefully get a better placement than they would if they went 3-0. However, I will say that they were able to take the zone back, like, at least a little bit on multiple occasions, but, you know, Lockout's just a bit strong on that map. I can understand how they fumbled. They just kind of, I don't know. It's difficult to get back in, and as you were saying, that holding that stack, just having control of your own stack, is kind of the key to being able to retake on that map mode, and it's difficult to get in. So, no shame in losing that game, but once again, they just have to keep their cool and move on to game 3, which is going to be Museum on Clam Blitz. What are your opinions on this map mode?
Museum's a silly little map. For a release map, amongst a lot of other really limiting maps, this one does have a lot of paths. It has that upper left path for being able to get people out of your spawn, or just like very close area. Has that upper right path for a drop directly into mid and potential flanks. And it just has, of course, the main one where there's just so many points to be painted. Just able to a very varied map amongst a couple that aren't. Clam Blitz specifically has that little block that allows you to jump straight from mid up to that Clam basket that is either entirely expected or not expected whatsoever. So it's always a fun little surprise to see what the plan is about that little box.
This map, from my experience, can also be a bit stally going on into overtime before anybody even scores a clam, which I'm honestly kind of expecting to see right here. But I'm actually looking for Penultimate to take a KO. I think that would be very, very interesting. And honestly, be a breath of fresh air for them. But it seems they're taking a pretty interesting comp into this. I would not have expected to see a custom well string and a recycled Brella. I don't know what the second version of the recycled Brella is called. Oh. Yeah. It's interesting, to say the least.
No, I support it, though. I love seeing new stuff like this, and it looks like it's able to get a lot of mid. I think the idea with the recycled Brilla is just that very quick shield can help protect some much-needed clams. Just a very minor shield, very mobile, but it still has that rush potential, is what I think I'm looking for here.
90 damage on Umbrella is certainly cool. However, why couldn't they have given that to regular Umbrella again? I miss you. Come back. We miss you.
And yeah, as we're talking, 2 go down on the side of Tidebreaker, as Tidebreaker's clam just kind of rots in a ditch. Very back and forth paint in mid. Tidebreaker does have a clam, which is a bit of an advantage over Penultimate, although they do have one member with 7. As it's, just continuing back and forth, very neutral game here. Reef Slider into actually nothing. As Penultimate, rather, start to approach this ramp up to the plat.
That is 2 players down on the side of Tidebreaker and is in a... Oh, but the ball falls down after that Reef Slider. That is so unfortunate. I need to completely retake to get that power clam in and score no more points. They're down to 74, but it doesn't seem like they have... Never mind. I stand corrected. It seems like anytime that I want to say something, the game the players are just like, nah, how about we prove you wrong? And I'm here for it, honestly. I was ready to say that this game was going to be stalled out to the end, but no. Penultimate is able to get those scores, and a double coming out from Stamp. Earlier, I was saying that is a bit of a pathetic special that is able to get very little value, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so close already. That jump in was insane, and the Reefsider being cancelled. It is a lot like Ultra Stamp in that sense, where it could either get a lot of value or no value at all. And it's honestly, in the blink of an eye, it is right back to almost equal playing fields. AC, what are your thoughts?
I've been thinking this for a little bit after I saw all the stamps on the field, but I think both teams have really adapted quite the I'm going to get something that lets me swim in a straight line to the clam mentality, especially that recycled Brilla, the Ultra Stamps and all of that, and it's really working. They're able to get very substantial pushes, although they are being deflected later on. Tiebreaker manages to get another clam in as Penultimate does their best to defend. All of Penultimate is up here where they grab their power clam so they can get another free one later. They just let that wiper kind of get underneath the basket. They let another almost gets in, but not quite, as it looks like Penultimate reclaims their area.
That could have been game saving for Tiebreaker if they're able to get that power clam in, but now they're going to need to build an entirely new one. Without that huge lead, it is once again just a 2-lead difference for Penultimate and Tiebreaker holding this lead, but not by much. Penultimate, it really could just be a last-minute push that they need to flip this lead. So if I were Penultimate right now, if I were Tiebreakers, I would not be feeling very confident with this lead. But, you know, there's only one way to find out what happens, and that's to watch. Now, two power clams being on the side of Penultimate, well, yes, it does give your location away. If you're able to play right, then that could be 2 power clams for the price of almost 1 being thrown into the basket, and that is huge points being scored right there. But no, it seems like the power clam holders will go down, and that's 3 down, 4 down, a delayed wipe on Penultimate, where Tiebreaker is once again able to hold the platform of Penultimate and, yeah, just score even more clams. It doesn't even matter, really, if they go down, because they just have that lead. And with only 1 minute left, it's going to be pretty difficult for Penultimate to be able to take a lead past 9-6. This could be a knockout right here.
Yeah, no, genuinely. Tiebreaker's just able to keep, although they do go down, I'm tripping over my own words. They managed to get in.
That
just
jump throw was insane.
I love box. They managed to get in, break up Penultimate a couple of times, managed to take it out long enough, and then that insane clam toss you mentioned right at the end to secure the 3-0 on this group stage for them.
Really, really well played on Tiebreaker, getting a 3-0 victory, and that is going to be huge for their ability to move on in brackets later tonight. However, Penultimate, this might have been a very disappointing loss for them. However, the game will still go on for them. They still got some more games to play, and if they let they take this loss too hard, then there's really that's really the worst thing that could happen for them. So I'm hoping that they are able to take a bit of a breather in between their next set and just regroup and take the next set at 3-0 victory. I would like to see that. I guess we'll just have to check in later once the brackets are in play to see if that is going to happen, I believe. However, that is going to be the end of that set right there. Honestly, the 3-0 victory, it is kind of strong, but we have seen that Penultimate was able to get a few very, very crucial clam throws at the end. Oh, it seems like now we are going to be going on a break. Be sure to stay tuned, AC. You want to see them back here, right?
Indeed. For groups round 3 coming up soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Under Pressure from the Ink Up 70. It is I, Ranny, at TGP Ranny, and I am still, once again, joined here by AC. Say hello.
Hello, yep, still here.
Right now, it seems like we are going to be moving on to round 3 of groups. And considering what we've seen from the past few rounds, I am really looking forward to this. I expect to see nothing but the best gameplay from both of these teams. I don't know if I said that correctly. I might have said gameplay. Gameplay from both of these teams. House of Flying Daggers. That is a awesome name. And Krill Streak. I am actually quite familiar with Krill Streak, and I am don't tell the stream this, but I'm kind of rooting for them here.
Don't tell the stream this. Krill Streak's definitely Krill Streak's been here a couple of times. I'm newer to this, so I'm not fully familiar. And I remember seeing earlier today on Blue Sky, I believe it was, a bit of art by them. Right here. 1 win for Krill Streak, please. At the little table on the in-between screen. I love it. It's adorable.
I love seeing team just art for Splatoon teams. It's always so cute because, I don't know, there's something so special to me about the bonds that people make with their teams. Because I think, in my opinion, the most important aspect if you're going to be on a Splatoon team is the bond that you have with your teammates. If you don't have a good bond, you're not a good team. That's more often the case than it is not. So just seeing that bond visualized by artists Which, by the way, a lot of the artists in this community, absolutely insane. I love to see this kind of artwork. So more of that, please. I will pay you to send me more Curl Streak art.
Shoutouts. I mean,
but with that being said, Krill Streak is going to be this round 3 streamed set right here. What are the upcoming maps for this set? Oh, it seems like game 1 is actually going to start, so we'll find out what
I believe it is Tower Control on Inkblot. There it is.
Yep, Tower Control and Inkblot. This is also pretty divisive. What are your thoughts, AC?
It's tried and true. I've been my team was a big fan of Tower Control Inkblot from day one.
Krill Streak pulling out a comp that I feel like I would only see on my team, Dynamo Hydra. That is interesting. You love to see it. I'm very familiar with it.
I love these comps. Okay, hold on. Dynamo Hydra V-Roller in Splash versus double Stamper Dooley C-Jet. Oh man, I love to see the creativity out here. This Dynamo getting that early, just getting that crucial paint. However, C-Jet on that left stack. I played C-Jet for a short while. I know that is where you sit and you just hold down your shoot button and you get so much paint. Those strikes coming in the middle as the roller pushes up. Roller, a very strong, not seen too often, but definitely enough. Very strong weapon with that very defensive special that just lets it hold its own so easily.
Yeah, they're cruising past that checkpoint. That is free for them, and now they just really got to get those picks, and that roller underneath the ledge is going to be absolutely huge for Krill Streak. Once again, just pushing even further past the checkpoint. It is highly unfortunate that the Jets culture goes down there. That is really their best opportunity at being able to hold Krill Streak from collapsing in even further and pushing up to this next checkpoint where, once again, a bubble on the checkpoint is going to probably secure them another free check. Yep.
And that roller was on a rampage, just going absolutely everywhere, making sure it had full control, clearing the path for that tower, and it's already super jumped back in. It's being targeted by a few weapons now, sure, and the House of Flying Daggers has Krill Streak surrounded, but they're just gonna put their roller forward, put their tri-strikes down, and try their best. However, 3 people right on tower may be enough. However, I'm seeing a silly little, there we go. Quick trade, but not enough.
I would have loved to see it. It would have been highly disappointing for House of Flying Daggers, but that's the way the game is. If you let your guard down and you don't clear the area first, you could just be absolutely taken by surprise from Krill Streak. And that splash, I would love to see something like that coming out from them again, but their Hydra does go down, and much like the Jets culture for House of Flying Daggers, that is really their best bet, but oh wow, it's just kind of a bloodbath right here, 3 down for both teams. However, Krill Streak's roller, once again, Milk being able to find that last pick, and it is once again, this game seems to be completely in their favor right now. They got map control, they've got mid control, they've got the lead, they've got the pick. Once again, this roller is wreaking havoc for House of Flying Daggers. In my opinion, those dualies need to be able to take out that roller as much as possible if they're going to want to be able to get past even the first checkpoint, which won't even be enough to secure them a lead. Because look at that, it's a triple on the roller, and the dualies, wait, nope, I was going to say, could have been a quad, but no, I was proven wrong. However, a triple is still huge, and they're once again able to push right up into the elbow and get another pick. It is insane. Krill Streak is really holding their ground, really proving to the other team, hey, we're strong, you really got to take us seriously. And honestly, they're doing quite a good job at sending that message, if I do say so myself.
Indeed, indeed, and for a lot of that time, Krill Streak's roller on a Krill Streak itself, just managing to just get down player after player after player, and I see at that ledge yet again going for that 2v1 and winning on the corner of the screen as this C-Jet just tries to manage the rest of the team on its own. Just a completely insane hold. Krill Streak is not letting that tower even go back to mid, let alone past the middle to a checkpoint anywhere else. This 15 lead looks like a really promising one as we enter the last minute of the game, and this roller's still doing what it does best.
Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on another kill right there. and it is giving House of Flying Daggers control of their platform and possibly even mid, but with only 1 minute left in the game, a player down? It's not looking so good for them. 2 players down on House of Flying Daggers, but 1 player down on Krillstreak. Flying Daggers is really going to have to go for something right now if they're going to want to be able to get past the first checkpoint and keep going before time runs out for them. And that's not going to be easy because of Krillstreak. I have experience with a comp like this. Hydra Dynamo is not something that you want to run at very, very fast because you are going to be punished hard if you do that.
Indeed, indeed. I'm getting deja vu with this throw from the Booyah Bomb throw up to stacks or backs because that just insane position. As we enter the last 15 seconds of the game, Krillstreak maintains that just vice grip we've seen on them for the whole game as that long-range Hydra is on the tower with so many just quick-killing weapons. Maybe not quick-killing, but powerful weapons backing it up. So that even when they try to get on that overtime, that roller just claws back, takes the tower, and secures round 1 for Krillstreak.
What a commanding victory that was for them. They might have not gotten the knockout, but I think they knew that. They knew they didn't need to get the knockout right there to be able to win that game. And really, that's the smarts, that's the brains that goes into Splatoon. If you have that much of a lead, you can kind of just play it a bit safer, and especially with the Hydra and Dynamo, typically that's going to be your best play. You don't want those players to go down. So really, really wonderful victory for Krillstreak. I'm hoping, not necessarily hoping, but I'm expecting to see a little bit of a game plan change coming out from House of Flying Daggers to be better able to take care of Krillstreak's comp and play style. I think that would be the best move, considering how just absolutely strong Krillstreak started, continued, and then just held onto for that entire game right there. Never really letting Flying Cards be able to take mid for much longer than, I'd say, 5 seconds. It was really, really impressive on Krillstreak's part. However, the set's not over yet. House of Flying Cards definitely has a chance. And on a map mode like Undertow Spillway, this map mode in particular, this could just be me, but this map mode right here is, in my opinion, one of the most comeback-heavy maps. It is a map that really lends itself to, even if you have what seems like a strong lead, it's not safe. It's really not safe if the other team knows how to take advantage and snowball in on you.
Indeed, indeed. However, you were talking about grabbing that lead, holding it, and just carrying forward. And I'm imagining that roller beside this Rainmaker going on a crazy Krillstreak, just being able to just pave a path for this Rainmaker, especially with Curling Bomb in its kit. Just paint that path forward, follow it yourself. Just take down anyone in your way, as we've seen that roller do. I'm thinking now the Rainmaker can definitely change position a lot faster than the tower can, but I wouldn't count out Krillstreak's incredible quick rush into heavy defense strategy yet, because that could very much work here.
I'm expecting to see Milk once again on the roller, because like what they were doing in that tower control match just the game before, as we were moving into game 2, they were using that bubble to secure checkpoints, and that is something that is very, very easy to do here on Rainmaker. If you just set up a bubble right next to that checkpoint, it's near impossible for the enemy team to really break through it before the team is actually able to get that. Actually, no, that is interesting. Milk is no longer on the vanilla roller, but a carbon roller. Great weapon choice. However, I was really looking forward to see that checkpoint cheese right there. But, you know, I respect it. With House of Flying Daggers able to get that initial pop, not so surprising considering their object damage on their team. Going 3 players, 3 players down on the side of Krillstreak. This could be House of Flying Daggers' opportunity to get an early checkpoint break within the first 30 seconds of the game, possibly. And look at this, just nope, not quite. However, it was really, really close. A formidable effort. AC, Indeed. What do you think is going to be their best course of action, not being able to break through that checkpoint just yet?
I'm seeing House of Flying Daggers. They really got caught down, and as you said, just retake heavy map. Although I do see that Dooley's hiding near that Rainmaker, still left it undetected. It traded out, but most of Krillstreak survives. I honestly think you were saying that you saw the roller change. I think Carbon can definitely fulfill that kill streak role. And so I think it'll be so interesting to see, especially with Zuka in the kit, to pick off some of these further back enemies afraid of the raw power. And here it goes on its merry way, hitting anyone it sees. That this CJ's range may prove hard for it, but Rainmaker set back in mid. Very even paint as a as a DC appears for House of Flying Daggers.
That's not very fun.
Oh,
yeah, it seems. Okay. I was about to just mention how Carbon Roller. It may not have been what I was personally expecting, but I see the vision because we've already seen earlier in this tournament tonight that Carbon Roller is something that you really, really have to respect. It makes it incredibly risky for the enemy team to take space without caution, and they also really have to choking on my words. They really have to respect the pure aggression that can come from Carbon Roller. Once the Carbon Roller gets one pick, it is likely that they're going to get two, maybe even three, and if they're lucky enough, or if they're good enough, maybe even an entire team wipe. And that is something that Carbon Roller really, really excels. Snowballing on their own picks.
Yeah, no, Carbon Roller, we may not see that curling bomb path forward, but that burst paint can be really helpful. Just throw a quick burst bomb at check, help your Rainmaker get past it while you can go on your own journey of picks. And it's just a really strong weapon, very common because of that.
For sure. Not to mention that it also is loaded with not just a burst bomb, which is obviously like one of, if not the best sub that Carbon Roller could ever ask for. It comes with Trizuka. Say what you will about Trizuka, whether it's a balanced special or not. I'm not here to discuss that. I'm here to discuss how it, on Carbon Roller, is absolutely incredible. It just fills Carbon Roller's role completely perfectly, while also giving it a tool to deal with threats that it cannot reach. And Zuka is a very strong special, as I'm sure we are all well aware of.
We know. Although this Double Sword comp, it will be interesting to see how exactly they interact as the game starts up again. Pretty typical paint. As they rush forward, it'll be a race to see who can get that pop. As you mentioned last time, that insane object damage on House of Flying Daggers kind of secures it. But slowly but surely, the Krill streak approaches.
Now, with this Hydra in that position, it makes grabbing the Rainmaker, it seems like, oh wait, but they got flanked by the Dualies getting a double on Krill Streak. It's triple. Going down is just the Carbon left, but as I was saying, with that jump back, another DC.
Yeah.
It seems they already have
they're still going at it. They're holding toward that check. They're playing the video game. I'm gonna keep commentating until I see people stop moving. I see the strikes out from the side of Krill Streak as they desperately try to get a hold, but that just pre-made numbers disadvantage combined with that those incredible kills. Krill Streak is headed back to House of Flying Daggers checkpoint this time as they aim to intercept it.
I just feel really bad because
now they're being silly. Booyahing? Question mark?
If House of Flying Daggers is able to deny Krill Streak this checkpoint, then it's really going to be their only opportunity to be able to hold a lead. Because without it, just being in a 3v4, but going 3 players down on Krill Streak once again, this might be exactly what House of Flying Daggers needs to take a 3v4 and win. I don't want to speak too soon. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. It is really anybody's game right now, especially considering how Krill Streak does have a player advantage simply because they do not have a disconnect on their team. That's really not going to feel good for House of Flying Daggers, but they still got to play it. They have to play this game through. And if they play it well enough, they could take an extremely clutch 3v4 victory. And honestly, isn't that what the stream wants to see? I don't want to speak for it, but that would be hype.
Although, yeah, I am looking at it. House of Flying Daggers did secure a lead before that DC happened, and I think their best game plan right now is just going to be trying to hold that, stop Krill Streak, who is a very defense-heavy comp as a result of some slow weapons, from pushing forward. However, as I speak, Krill Streak attempts to go to the left. They do lose the Rainmaker, but who's to say for how long, as this mid-column area is overtaken with that green paint. Two down on the side of Krill Streak may make it hard to continue, but they do manage to cap that check, and that will be a very easy lead take if they manage to get past it.
I was gonna say that the dualies on the side of House of Flying Daggers, they are not the one that went disconnected into Krill Streak. Yes, able to finally take that lead, which could be very, very punishing on House of Flying Daggers. But House of Flying Daggers, I wanted to point out how those dualies were the absolute pinnacle of their potential at the beginning of the game, and having them still on the team, being able to absolutely like just actually threaten Krill Streak, it might be what they need to once again take the lead, because 48 is not that much of a lead on this map. You could very easily take that back if you get to one of the checkpoints. And it seems like Krill Streak, that Carbon Roller sharking right there, not able to get a pick, but it was worth an attempt, you know?
Indeed, and as that rain goes forward, forces the Carbon Roller out of its spot. Krill Streak's Hydra tries to hold everything down, but I do see some weapons getting ideas as this Stamper slings forward with its Zipcaster.
Not quite able to get a pick.
Yeah, no picks, but House of Flying Daggers does have full mid control, and they are beginning their push against the enemy team. This insane dualies that you were mentioning earlier, just completely going around the slow start weapons of Krill Streak. Just, yeah, almost a triple. Insanely able to just mow down that fast pace versus those, like the Dynamo, the Hydra, the weapons that may have a little bit more trouble with it, as House of Flying Daggers gets all the way up here, but the dualies decide to slow down their pace a little bit and wait for an opportunity before jumping out.
With 1 minute left, it's really looking kind of scary for House of Flying Daggers. The dualies are able to get triple, but with a comp that has both a Hydra and a Dynamo and the paint of that end splash, is going to be difficult for them to really be able to get the key player, the Hydra, down to really create the space that they need to once again take the. It's not looking great for them right now, being almost completely just a Stamper to their name. Also going down with 23 seconds left. It's really just in these final moments, they're going to need to get an absolutely insane play.
Honestly, if I were Krill Streak here, I wouldn't even risk the overtime. Like, they're really going for it. They're going for the kill. But, like, they have that lead. They have had that lead. But no matter what, just barely. That in-splash almost managed to get that final dunk. It will give a little bit of an opportunity for overtime, although it may not be one that is taken, as they are almost unable to grab in time. However, they do manage to. But Krill Streak already with multiple weapons positioned all around the perimeter of House of Flying Daggers drop, just completely trying to solidify an iron defense, stop them from getting by, secure this victory. It's going to be very hard, practically a knockout required. House of Flying Daggers to win here. This overtime still keeps going. Krill Streak has to give a little bit of space, but
that's fine for them.
Yeah, like that. They really are able to, as that little bit of space leads them directly into that kill, as the House of Flying Daggers Rainmaker goes down and Krill Streak takes another map.
I was really rooting for House of Flying Daggers. They had such a strong opening. I feel like they could have had that if they just had that last player, but, you know, $20 a year sometimes just isn't enough.
Yeah?
DC's happening left and right in Splatoon. It's just a part of the game at this point. You kind of just have to play with it. And I honestly have to give them huge props. Krill Streak was not able to knock them out, and they were able to get past checkpoint. Like, that is huge in a 3v4 setting. So honestly, like, you guys on House of Flying Daggers played incredibly well. It's just that Krill Streak, with that comp, not really allowing them to really push much further past that checkpoint, which is really the key detail there. Doesn't help when you only have 3 players on your team. Certainly not something in a situation you want to find yourself in, AC.
But being a play all 3, yet another map exists, as we are going to be venturing to Splat Zones on Mahi Mahi Resort next. A massive zone that I have a lot of fond memories of, because a lot of my favorite weapons and Splat Bombs work very, very well.
Yeah, honestly, this map mode, it had a rough start when Splatoon 3 first released. The changes that they made going into Splatoon 3 did not help it. However, it had a pretty significant map rework that made it like Mahi Mahi zones, one of the most beloved map modes for a lot of people. And so I can see, and as you said, a lot of weapons, a lot of playstyles are able to work here. And in particular, I'm looking at Carbon Ruler possibly returning on Krill Streak, and a Dynamo Roller, honestly. There are some the ledges on this map are extremely dangerous to contest, because those rollers and buckets, they can just stay underneath there and just absolutely deny you from ever being able to drop down there. And I've seen it happen before, I've experienced it. It's really just a key to victory on this map if you have a roller or a bucket. However, as you said, other weapons are completely viable. What are you expecting to see in both?
Yeah, the roll in the bucket, of course, because that low tide, just absolute insane ledge camp is just so strong because you're just able to keep the zone out of the range of many of the enemy team. However, that C-Jet, the C-Jet persists, the C-Jet continues. That C-Jet may be a great way to reach zone even while they're being held back. And honestly, I'm just really excited to see, because these two teams, we were seeing them some really unique comps, running double Stamper running double Stamper 2 games in a row, despite even with that DC in the second. It's just really impressive that they're willing to bring a comp like that in. And obviously on the other side, that Hydra Dynamo, speaking of range and being able to punch past that kind of physical barrier, Hydra, if there's someone who can do it, it is Hydra with that insane range and that Booyah Bomb. Just can affect the zone no matter what. I'm really excited to see Unstoppable Force versus Unstoppable Force collide here on this zone.
I will say that I have a bit more to say with Krill Streak, considering that my team does run Hydra Dynamo and T-Tech, which is a little bit similar to N-Splash. So if we see that again here, it is a comp on a map mode that I am very familiar with, and I would love to see, because, I don't know, just find a little bit of comfort in that. So, I mean no shade to Flying Daggers, but I just know more about what is possibly going through the minds of Krill Streak. No shade to them, to House of Flying Daggers. I still love to see the C-Jet, as you were saying. I think you and I share a commonality in that we both used to play C-Jet. I think it's a very fun weapon. What drew you to it?
So I had some really bad X placement games, and I said, I don't feel like playing with these children, on zones. So I saw Haggle zones, I saw the, glass kind of square, and I said, I just feel like holding ZR today. And that was really what started it, and then I discovered, wow, you really can just hold ZR on this weapon. So I started experimenting a bit more with it, making a gear build, and it became really interesting, because it was just able to apply such constant pressure. I was able to provide a much needed backline option for my team at the time. And it was just like incredible for the duration I played it. Obviously, being the Zap player, I ended up back in jail after a little while, but it was very fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I honestly, if I let myself play more than just 3 weapons, I'd probably still play one of the jets, because it's a simple weapon, but it's a fun weapon because of just how diverse. I think it's an underappreciated weapon. I think we need to see more C-Jets and V-Jets being played as an anchor weapon on teams, because they're just so flexible. They can work with a lot of different team comps, and that's honestly one of the strengths that I took advantage of, because I played it on my college team during the CCA, and that was like the main benefit that I saw with it, is that I was able to play it when we needed something to anchor, something to paint, and something to fight all at the same time. That's something that I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate enough about the Jet Squelchers, unless you go back to Splatoon 2, in which case I would not touch that thing with a 10-mile stick. No, not a chance.
Indeed, and it looks like up top our game is starting up, so we'll be able to see how exactly these weapons interact with this zones Mahi that we've been seeing. And sure enough, there's that Hydra, and there's that C-Jet, although I am noticing a few changes on the side of House of Flying Daggers.
I'm also noticing differences in kill streak.
Or yeah, no, I
Milk is
mean
on
colors.
Milk is on a decap instead of a roller here, and honestly, the bubble is kind of huge on Splat Zone, so I see what they're going for. But I don't know, the legend. I stand corrected. Maybe they were right for picking that, but you know, the dualies on the side of House of Flying Daggers once again proving to all of us that they are the star player tonight.
Indeed, indeed. I definitely see the ability to change from roller to decaf. Just the similarities between them probably make it pretty simple. Azuka double off the off here, making it so that Krill Streak just gets such good control of the zone, and we're seeing that that very quick push-up that we were expecting, as this machine does what a machine does best under a ledge. And
yep, the ledge that we were talking about earlier.
Their favorite button, and sure enough, here's that Hydra I was talking about earlier. That insane range, that Booyah Bomb, able to affect so many. They're 2 down again. Krill Streak has taken the lead, and it looks like a dominant lead for them as the water drops.
Right here. With their dualies going down to that Booyah Bomb, I believe it was, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to take the zone in time, especially missing the kill on that Hydra spot lane, which is a key to their victory and taking back the zone, is get that Hydra out of there. But it seems so impossible with they're sitting all the way back here, but with 2 players now, it could be possible. And the zone flip does happen. However, the Hydra player is still alive, still in play, and they could make another pushback right here. However, I do want to point out, House of Flying Daggers, good job at getting that zone right back, because that can be extremely difficult, especially with a Hydra and a machine on the other team. AC, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, yeah, no, just incredible turn back, especially because Krill Streak got it so low so fast. They got a significant penalty to work through. While they do seem to be decently contesting it, Krill Streaks actually seem to be maybe overstepping their bounds, thinking that they can just kind of diff, when in fact House of Flying Daggers is a pretty formidable team that demands respect.
Yeah,
as they managed to keep that hold on as only 20 ticks remain. This Booyah Bomb from the Hydra is going to try to capture it, or at least make some significant progress. And as a massive fight emerges, it's not that unclear who's going to get out. But the bubble and the just read on the descent, as they take down 2-1-0, as House of Flying Daggers manages to take Mahi zones here.
Awesome. That was an awesome comeback for House of Flying Daggers. Krill Streak was able to bring it pretty far down at the very beginning, but House of Flying Daggers, they did not give up. And I was going to say, you cannot let yourself get cocky on this map mode, especially not against a team like this, because they are going to find a way to take advantage of that. And as we see, just steal the victory from the hands of Krill Streak. Unfortunately, Krill Streak was not able to get that cap with the Booyah Bomb and the bubble. Really unfortunate for them. However, House of Flying Daggers, they just kind of outplayed Krill Streak. I gotta admit, they just played better.
Indeed, indeed. This last little exchange as well. Absolutely insane clutch up from House of Flying Daggers, managing to take that zone back. It was almost gone, but due to that incredible Stamper super jump kill, they just managed to take it.
Really, really well played on both of these teams' parts. Any highlights that you want to bring, AC?
I think the biggest one is just how House of Flying Daggers managed to take the zone back from a Hydra. Not the most mobile weapon, but until now, Krill Streak had not had too much trouble keeping them in one spot. Although that jump, the way the ledge is set up, and that jump between that and the the snipe might have just made it hard to move around. Got it cornered, got it killed. And yeah, just incredible retake, incredible hold part 2 near the end there with that zones cap. And it's just like, wow. It was so close, but they clutched it up at the end, and that is what we love to see. With a knockout too.
Yeah, the knockout is kind of crazy. I was expecting, at the very least, for Krill Streak to be able to take back the zone and bring it into overtime maybe, but no. House of Flying Daggers proved themselves, and they were able to take a knockout and taking a game off of Krill Streak. I mean, that's kind of big. You saw how Krill Streak played the other 2 games. They were pretty strong opponents. and I was really I was kind of rooting for them. But they did take the set, and props to them for that. But also props to House of Flying Cards. What do you think was their key play that last game?
House of Flying Cards had to be that Stamper jump in. The Stamper jump in kill on that camping decav is just incredible. Just being able to just completely shut it down. Because at first glance, I thought it was the decav that killed the Stamper. I thought the decav was jumping back in, despite it not having Sipcaster. But it was Stamper, which means that it's just that very a more precise hitbox, honestly, with that verticality as opposed to the horizontal one. So just great flick on their part.
Yeah, that was really really fun to watch. However, with that being said, those are the 3 games of groups. And we are pretty soon going to be moving on into the bracket stage of From the Ink Up, which will be happening momentarily. But before we head out on our break between now and groups, I would like to just say that Under Pressure is going to be hosting Setting Sail. I believe it is tomorrow. So, Setting Sail, what that is another low-level tournament for players maybe not quite able to reach the tops of From the Ink Up. So, if you're interested in playing Setting Sail, then please do join the Under Pressure Discord server to stay up to date with all of the tournaments and all that kind of stuff right there. And I believe if you are playing From the Ink Up today, then you are still able to register for the event tomorrow. Once again, be sure to come back here tomorrow night to catch Setting Sail streamed here on Twitch at Under Pressure. But yeah, that is all for groups, and we hope to see you here once again for the brackets. Isn't that right, AC?
Mm-hmm. And just a quick correction there. You say tomorrow night, but I believe it is 10 a.m. PT that we are seeing Setting Sail, so it'll actually be quite early in the morning.
Okay.
Or not like quite early in the morning. I think this one get mixed up. More midday-ish, low ink time-ish, but still definitely worth tuning in tomorrow and seeing.
Mm-hmm. But with that being said, we will see you guys soon with the brackets. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You are still here, hopefully, watching Under Pressure live on twitch.tv. And now we are bringing you not back to groups, which we were just at a few minutes ago, but no, we are here with brackets. We are going on to be moving right here. We're moving on to gold bracket round 1, which I believe is against Malevolent. Oh my god, I'm tripping over my words a lot. Malevolent Cooler, and over the river and through the beak.
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 Assume beach, but very funny. Cut off.
Yep.
I gotta love the little Malevolent Cooler.
I do want to say that I hate them for just having the word malevolence there.
Yeah.
I know how to pronounce malevolent, but it just trips me up every single time. Not a fan of that. And
I like the implication that NZAP summons it like a domain expansion.
You know what? That is actually a good image.
That is powerful as one.
Excuse me. Have you seen Cooler's dominance in Splatoon meta for how long now?
Yeah,
I think it's served. I think it's proved itself.
Honestly, if it took as much startup as a domain expansion, it might be a little more balanced.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Cooler hater, but I'm also not a Cooler.
Not a fan, but not actively hating it or anything.
Yeah, I don't love Cooler, but I'm not a. I was trying to find a way to say what I was thinking while being stream appropriate, which.
I was put on good old Cooler jail for a while, so I've got some memories, good and bad.
Oh yeah, you were an NZAP player.
I was the NZAP until we got a pencil player.
The lovely pencil, yeah.
And then our pencil was like, "Hey, can I play Ziffy?" And I'm like, "Oh no." I have to go back.
Were you good at it? That's my question.
Honestly, I was crazy on the Zap. A
Really?
little too crazy. I was a little too aggro. Some may say I could not help myself holding forward, and I would die with Cooler charged. But I was crazy in my opinion. I diffed.
Yep. I mean, Cooler does allow for quite a lot of play styles.
And as this match gets ready to start, looks like round 1 is going to be a tower control on Undertow Spillway. We just saw Undertow Spillway with that Rainmaker game, but now we're seeing a different mode with tower control. I feel like I don't see this one very often. What are your thoughts on it?
I used to see it way more frequently a while back. I understand why it's being put in map pools. I don't hate this. It can just be a bit awkward moving around all the in mid. However, I think it's fine. Not a terrible map, but it is certainly one that I understand why it's being put in competitive map pools. And I think we'll see a perfect example of why right here. It is not too favored on either the attacking or defending. Actually, I do want to point out right here, the ZNF scope on the side of Malevolent Cooler versus the ballpoint splatling from the, I'm just going to call them Beak because it's funny to me. It is a matchup that I'm actually looking forward to seeing. Oh, but a player going down on Malevolent Cooler right at the beginning. Actually, it's being traded out, so honestly, not being able to get much leverage off of. What are your thoughts on the matchup between Ballpoint Splatling and ZNF?
Well, I'm seeing them both do the same little spiel of going up to their little snipe and sticking up there, ensuring these early picks, facilitating their team's kind of approach toward the tower. Neither one is really able to do it, but as the ballpoint is distracted, the ZNF tries to take its chance, but 3 go down on the side of Malevolent Cooler. 4 go down, a bit of a delayed wipe over here. Malevolent Cooler is really going to have to rush back toward that tower to retake, while Beak manages to just be around, and there's a good old strikes from that, I believe the Ziff.
That was an insane shot that the Chargers just got on the Ziff caster. I just want to point that out.
Indeed.
Honestly, really, really well done. That could have just saved you the game right there. If you didn't got that, maybe that we would have seen a knockout. But no, this Charger missing shots on the ballpoint splatling.
They got their good shot. They're still trying to find the screenshot. They're trying to hold down the screenshot button for like a second and a half. They're trying to get that 30-second clip. But yeah, while that happens, while Charger was struggling to get that confirmed, Beak manages to just retake this mid area. Although they do go 3 down, and it might just be back in the hands of Malevolent Cooler. Another back and forth. We love to see them tonight.
All the space being taken by Malevolent Cooler is going to be crucial for them to hold if they're going to want to be able to take the lead, and they do really, really smoothly, might I add. And this Blaster being all the way up in the base, getting a double kill, followed up by a Wiper being able to possibly punish this ball. No, they whiffed that too. It seems like they have some really, really good plays, but they choke up sometimes, and that could be to their detriment right here if we don't see, the Charger goes down to the jetpack, unfortunately.
Honestly, looking at this gameplay right here, it's all over the place, honestly. Just like, there's no, like, clear line approaching each other. Yeah, splash down into the triple, into another kill. Just, this incredible Blaster slowly approaching it again, ready to tear through Beak. Just managing to, like I said, tear through Beak, keeping the Malevolent Cooler push alive despite how many people went down. That was a kill. That was a Blaster kill. Arctic Rush manages to get behind the Blaster into a quick kill. Into a quick splat.
It can be quite difficult to push past 18 right here because it is right underneath the ledge where the enemy team spawns. So getting it to 18 is a pretty solid lead. However, it does not secure them the victory quite yet. There is still a chance that Beak can come back and take the victory, but if they go 2 players down, it's going to be, just a little bit more difficult, I'd say. Oh,
indeed.
Sorry.
Malevolent Cooler's Blaster manages to go on yet another one of its streaks into Splashdown and Splat. I didn't see kills pop at the bottom, some possibly assists, but definitely very heavy contributions. I'm seeing actually the points are all the way at 18, but a wipeout to Malevolent Cooler being entirely wiped out might give Beak what they need to reclaim that mid control and mount their comeback.
Yeah, that wipeout could have been absolutely huge for Beak to be able to bring it back. I can definitely see like 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the match. That is quite the time to be able to bring it back. But it is in Malevolent Cooler's best interest to just keep cool, keep playing, and keep their lead, which is going down on the side of Beak. It is going to be quite difficult for them to take it back unless this jetpack can get some crucial picks right here. That is a big pick right there. Are they able to capitalize off of it?
Yeah, who's to say, honestly. Looks like they've respawned, they're jumping back, they've jumped back in. This ballpoint's really focusing on this far left area, just barely on that edge of their reach. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, there's some trades going out between the Wiper and the Brush. Beak has their Cooler out against Malevolent Cooler, and we're gonna see a very heavy push from here as they just have much less to lose. Thanks to that increased respawn. However, much less to lose doesn't mean none, as they go 2, 3 down. 4, just insane
crucial
shots.
Kicks coming out from the ZF Charger right here. They are certainly proving that they know how to wield this weapon. It is not something easy to pick up, but they certainly know what they're doing with it.
Indeed, and those crucial picks right at the end that secured that ZF's position on the tower really led to it being able to cruise in for that lead win, just that win for Malevolent Cooler.
Yeah, honestly, Malevolent Cooler, they had some very, very crucial picks. That Zipcaster kill right at the beginning with the Charger, that was an insane shot. I wish I could see it from that Charger's perspective. And I would have loved to have been in their VC right there. The pop-off was probably kind of insane. But then those last few picks at the very end, this Charger, you know what? I'd be scared if I was facing them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, genuinely. Just the... See, I play T-Tech, big strikes believer. Being able to take the tower and then immediately pop so many strikes is genuinely just so strong and really secures situations like that. For the team to just completely push forward on that tower, and just situations like that are great for strike players.
I do want to note that the ballpoint, I did comment a little bit about the ballpoint versus ZF matchup at the beginning of the match, but that ballpoint One of the reasons that I really, really respect that weapon is because I absolutely adore Inkjet, and they had some pretty insane Inkjet kills too. Especially, they needed to defend themselves against the Wiper. It was, I think, halfway through that match. They got that pick off, and they were able to just hold their ground for a little bit longer, and that did allow them to get some points near the end. However, unfortunately, they were not able to secure a victory with that. But well played on both teams' side. I can definitely see how both of them got to gold bracket. It is certainly an achievement to get here just by itself. And I'm looking forward to game 2, which is Scorch Gorge on Clam Blitz. This is I think this map is really, really fun. I don't know about you, AC.
Yeah, it's Scorch Clams. It's a lot similar to Rainmaker in the way that you could go greats if you really felt silly like it, but a lot of the time it's just going to be that back and forth across that diagonal of mid. Essential because the clam baskets are right where the Rainmaker checkpoints that we saw earlier today are. So it's going to be interesting to see. If we see the ballpoint in Ziffy again, Ziffy might be able to pick off a lot, just insanely long ranges, especially on an open map like this, except for the large tower in the middle. And ballpoint's mobility could be much needed for the back and forth nature of clams. So I'm really interested to see and what comps they choose and how they plan to use them in this mode.
I don't think we're gonna see it, but you know what I would love to see here? A Tenebrella.
All right. Well, let's see what we have.
I'm expected to see a ZF Charger here again. I'm a huge believer that can be communication error. Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch, everybody. Not only do you have to pay for $300 to get your Switch, you have to pay $60 to get this game and $20 for online service. What for this? Peak Splatoon 3 right here.
Peak Splatoon 3 right here. Yeah, no. Yeah. I am really excited to see what Charger, what Splatling, and what else will fill out their rosters. But Splatoon's just making me wait a little bit longer, which gives me some more time. What were the comps for the rest of the rosters while we have this time to talk about such comps?
I do want to ask one question though. Did the room get disconnected, or did the stream perspective get disconnected?
I've got no idea. It's been a while since I've had to.
Okay, so the entire lobby disconnected. That it's really unfortunate how that happens in Splatoon.
Hoping for actual servers on the Switch too, maybe.
Yeah, we're hoping for it. Nintendo, you got the budget.
You have the budget. And yeah, but back to the idea of comps.
Oh yes.
Just that sort of the backlines we know are very influential, especially with like mobility versus just pure takedown potential. But what do you think about the rest? The ones that fill out, the ones that carry these little clams around?
I think it's honestly on this map, it's really this map is quite the weapon diversity. I'm a huge believer in Range Blaster on Scorch Gorge in any game mode. I think it's just absolutely a dominant weapon. Even after its nerfs, it has quite the positioning. Like the positions that it can take on this map give its using team quite an advantage if they're able to capitalize off of it. But other than that, seeing like wipers and shots, very common. And as I said before we got so rudely disconnected from the game, Tenebrella. I love Tenebrella. I don't think it's the best map for Tenebrella, but I will say that holding that ramp area underneath the basket is kind of crucial if you want to be able to continue scoring clams after you get a power clam in. And that is kind of what you're looking for in Clam Blitz, as it is the aim of, kind of is in the name. It's the name of the game too, Clam Blitz.
Indeed, and we're going to have to see who's able to keep that control, as keeping control of that uphill slope can sometimes be quite the problem. For other modes like Rainmaker and Tower Control, you only need to keep it until your objective passes by. But in Clam Blitz, that is your objective, and you need to just be on that awkward terrain for extended periods of time. And it's always interesting to see how different teams deal with that new environmental thing.
This is one of the interesting maps in Splatoon 3, in my opinion, because it just has it has levels to it. It has options, it has levels. Like, you can go all the way up underneath the dome, or Yeah, it seems like we are once again having some.
Nope, it's loaded, it's loaded, it's loaded.
difficulties.
Trust. There's the ballpoint that we know and love. There's the
An
headache that we
edit.
know and love.
Okay.
As you said earlier, shot, and then we see a zap, we see a brush, we see a blaster, like you mentioned earlier. Not quite the range blaster, but that sort of sea blast.
I see the
Another
vision.
shot, and
Splash
the
down on this
wiper.
map can be huge.
True, especially like I said, the awkward terrain. You know, one way to take it.
AOE, let's go.
And
But we see that also on the other team, on Beak over here, we have an Octobrush sharking, not really able, able to get some picks. Yes, we are able to see a pick, but a trade. And neither team really seems to have a very strong advantage here. So while teams do have their form of AoE, that being the custom blaster for, blaster just being awesome in this map and splashdown being even better. And then an Octobrush, which I think is also an underrepresented one. So I'm loving to see it here. Fizzy, proving to be quite the good blaster player, though. I must say, like they are an M so far. I was gonna say that they were not quite able to get that splashdown pick off, but they are. AC, do you think that this is going to be their chance to score some clams?
I really do. A lot of clams under the surface, just below the basket, and that power clam at the ready. It seems like the players behind are starting to pool their resources. Beak realized a little too late. They throw their bombs up, but Malevolent Cooler approach is just way too fast. They're able to completely get on here, just circumvent all of the bombs and such with careful positioning. And Azuka to continue it. The first push, I'm not even looking at the numbers, all the way down to 13.
It's
right off the bat. It may only be the head left, and that penalty may be huge, but that is just an undeniable lead, especially in a mode that just can really enable stalling. If they wanted to, they can just turn this into a game of turf war for the mid. And as the playing field evens, we'll have to see what each team's next move is.
I would like to point out how that push happened within the first 1 minute and 30 seconds of the game. Not only were they able to go get it all the way down to 13 in their very first push of the game, it took less than 2 minutes for them to be able to get all the way down there, which is really, really quite formidable. And yeah, as you said, the penalty is quite punishing. However, with a lead this large, in this team comp, like, I honestly see that, like, they don't need anything else. I would obviously don't get in your head that all too much, and like definitely take the opportunity. But like, yeah, they don't need anything right here, and it's really on the side of Beak to be able to just find their opening. And it's going to be difficult for them to be able to get a push as good as that. So, but maybe 2 pushes would be good enough. I'm not sure.
Indeed. However, first they're going to have to get that push as Malevolent Cooler's incredible defense in this terrifying blaster manages to scare off Beak's key clam players. Even then, you see on the right side of the screen, the wiper pushes forward, steals the clams that Beak tries to go for. They're just completely denying any pushes, any econ, anything on Beak's side. They pop the Zuka, they get a double, they get a triple. The hammer finishes it off, and they're right at the doorstep of Beak's clam basket with clearly enough, maybe not quite enough clams, but if they stay here, if they manage to get that hold that we were talking about earlier, 3 clams left. And I see a headed with 5. A sneaky pass might be enough to secure the game, but not quite, as they decide that 9 is good enough for them, with a mere 23 penalty, as Beak still stands at their full 100 score. Malevolent's insane pushes have been able to secure them quite the setup to be able to just go in for the kill any second now as we approach the last minute of the game.
I would like to say that we love to see Ultra Stamp actually working for once. And that honestly led them to get a huge, even further lead, all the way down to 9 is kind of insane. However, it is good to point out that there is still almost a minute left in the game. The game isn't over. There is still certainly an opportunity for Beak to be able to get to those necessary picks, like that pick right there with the Octobrush getting 2, 3 down on Malevolent Cooler. This could be insane. This could be exactly what they need to be able to maybe, possibly, if they're lucky enough, be able to, in one push possibly, get all the way down past 9 on the scoreboard. It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible. And that is something that we all have to learn at some while playing Splatoon. Even if the odds seem oh so against your favor, there is always a chance for you to come back in the end.
With 3 members of Malevolent Cooler down, and this clam standing outside the doorstep of their clam basket, this iron defense may crumble, but it doesn't seem to, as that blaster that we've seen cause so much trouble, and just all of them, honestly, each of them playing their own part, getting their own crucial picks, running down this overtime clock as they rush in just for that incredible clam end. Even though they could have waited it out, they go in, they prove that they are the ones. Malevolent Cooler take the second game and the set for this first round.
Yeah, honestly, it was really, these were some really good games that we saw from these two teams here. And I would like to once again point out how they both did make it to gold bracket. So even though Beak might have been eliminated right here, it is nothing to be ashamed of. Making gold bracket in itself is something to be proud of. Even if you were hoping to go further, you gotta just accept that you got this far and you deserved it.
And for Malevolent Cooler, this incredible win to start off their gold bracket run could lead to much more later down the road. And I do hope that the rest of the stream may see them again as they just move on. Dominant start. Hope they're going to do great things for the rest of this tournament.
For sure. However, with that being said, that is going to be the end of round 1 in the gold brackets. And with that also being said, that is going to be the end with me and AC over here. We did have a great time commentating for all of you guys. We hope you enjoyed. However, we are going to be moving on to further rounds with even more lovely commentators. Anything that you want to say before we head out, AC?
Indeed, indeed. Before we head out, there is a short trailer for Setting Sail that we have ready to show. During this quick transition over to the next set of commentators.
Yep, we hope to see you there.
What the hell? Oh my god!
New to comp but don't want to face this? Looking for a tournament to get started? Introducing Setting Sail, a tournament intended for novice level players and teams to gain practice and experience. Sign up as a solo entrant, partial team, or a full team. The semi-draft system ensures everyone gets to play. We have a results-based skill cap with no looty divisions or competitive experience required, so beginners are welcome. Compete against teams in a similar skill bracket, make new friends, scrim partners, and get introduced to the beginnings of how competitive Splatoon works. Well, welcome here. We are now coming at you from Under Pressure for FTIU Week 70 of this edition. I'm the voice who you just saw earlier on SESA. Definitely go check that out. But anyways, regardless of that, my name is Rocket, and joining me is Sudoku Champ themself here, and our resident Sudoku Champ nonetheless, Squidoku. How are you doing today?
Hey there, I am doing pretty well. Yeah, this is not a Sudoku contest we've got right here, though. This is from the Ink Up. We are in the gold bracket here, the top bracket for all the teams that won in their groups. If you have already been tuned in, you will have just seen Malevolent Cooler take a 2-0 win over the river and through the beak in the first round of this bracket. But for round 2, we will be bringing you a set between Epsilon Dragons and Killer Blues.
Indeed. Epsilon Dragons are 2 seed. On the other side, Killer Blues 7 seed. Obviously, making it here into gold bracket means these teams are really good, and that can't be said more than, both these teams. But anyways, taking a look at our map modes that we will have and we'll be starting with here. First, we're kicking off with Splat Zone's Robo Ramen. What are your thoughts on this map mode?
Splat Zones on Robo Ramen. I like it. I think it is very fun. It's a little interesting in terms of that underground kind of underneath path that goes under the main path that leads you from your spawn into the zone. And what I think is really the key here is not always putting all of your focus on that path from your spawn to the zone, because that's something that if a team has control of the zone, they can set up there pretty effectively. And if they have that set up, you really need more than just a full-on head-on assault to get them out of there. And the points tick down fast, so if you aren't able to put together a coordinated retake, then you might be having an issue.
Yeah, and it also relies on just a matter of managing your specials and pushing in when you do have them, and really just momentum in general. Obviously, momentum is always important in most, if not basically all Splat Zone maps, but I feel like Robo Ramen in particular, because I've seen matches time and time again just basically be won or lost based on how effective teams can use their specials, whether it be trip strikes, whether it be Zuka, whether it just even be a well-timed cooler as well, to maybe give your team a little bit more fighting power to maybe win that fight. And you were touching on a little bit those flanking routes. Not only can you think of the more common those assassin weapons, such as maybe like a carbon, maybe like a brush, can take those routes, you can also be looking at maybe a shot trying to be a little bit sneaky on the flank as well, maybe trying to pincer the enemy inside of the zone and then just kind of divide and conquer, and just being able to take the 2-on-1 fights you want. That I feel like is going to be the key and the theme of this match.
Oh yeah, for sure. But of course, that will have to depend on what exactly these teams are bringing in terms of their weapon compositions.
Indeed. And just kind of speculating here a little bit, I'm trying to see if any of these teams maybe give us a little bit of indication of what they have. Looking over at Killer Blues, I do see Chai is a designated brush player, so we might be seeing them running around trying to be that distraction on that flanking side that we were mentioning. I'm also seeing Splatana Stamper, a very common choice in terms of just all modes in particular, but I feel like it is just a very good midline fighty type weapon that can really benefit from this. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see here.
That we will, and it looks like we may be getting right into it now. The teams are readied up, and we are here for round 2 of bracket. Epsilon Dragons did get a bye first round, so this is their first fight in the bracket.
Ooh.
Killer Blues coming out here from a win over Washed, but I see some interesting, exciting picks here. There is a Rapid Blaster Deco and a Blue Dapples on the side of Epsilon Dragons, and an Inkline Tri-Stringer coming out from Killer Blues.
Those super chumps are going to be really annoying to deal with if you're on the side of Epsilon Dragons. But speaking of Epsilon Dragons, they managed to win that team fight initially very convincingly, managed to take out 3 players there, and now are finding themselves in a great position for this hold, especially with Cooler on their backs. They can really just take these angles and wait for Killer Blues to push into them, especially since they have this oh so deadly reslider, maybe trying to go and maybe get a Seeky pick and then jump out. But right now, it's Epsilon Dragons' point.
Yeah, it is Epsilon Dragons, and they have control of the zone, looking to take out that crab of Nox. Nox does go down, but still, Killer Blues is able to take control of the zone with that. Only for a brief moment, though, as the Tri-Strikes come out alongside that Inkjet from Tipo to get control of the zone back for Epsilon Dragons. But now, just as soon as I say that, it has gone back to Killer Blues, and maybe this time they will be able to try and put together a stronger push and set up here as Nox camps that jump successfully as the rest of the team comes in to hold the defense.
Yeah, Nox is almost to that crab as well. They're using it here, managing to get a good trade. Dylan Tipo as well on that side, and now Killer Blues almost able to take this lead, and they will take that lead. The Super Trumps are now going out for that Tri-Stringer on the side of Killer Blues to really give them more space here as Epsilon Dragons is just moving up closer and closer and closer, and finally you see the Trip Strikes going out, and that is a really well-placed Trip Strikes just to create some space, and now Epsilon Dragons will force the penalty, and they don't have much penalty to work through themselves, so this lead can be flipped really, really quickly.
Yeah, there's Ashley dropping down with that T-Tech, taking out Chai. As Epsilon Dragons have gone through that penalty, they are down and into the lead there. There's that Tacticooler coming out, while Killer Blues not quite ready to move in just yet. They have those chumps coming out, as well as specials ready from Spectro on the Stamper and Chai on the Brush. I think I saw that Brush use their special. Yep, there's that Whale, as well as Spectro here with the Zipcaster trying to get a pick onto the Inkjet. Able to survive that Reef Fighter that came out as they were recalling, but that still didn't allow them to take the zone from Epsilon Dragons, who are already down into the single-digit points.
They are indeed, and they look like to be taking this one, unless, hold on, there is a bit of an effort at the end for Killer Blues, but those Trip Strikes will put the dagger for that game. Epsilon Dragons, a great first game, and I mean, that game was just kind of designated to what I was hinting at earlier at the beginning, really just trading out specials, and there was a moment there where Killer Blues did have the specials available, but Epsilon Dragons was able to shut it down pretty effectively with their own specials. I mean, you saw I believe it was a jetpack just being popped as well, just to maintain control. Obviously, the deadly Reef Slider coming out from the Dapple Dualies just creates so much space, and Reef Slider is always good on zones.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I saw them using it. At one point, it wasn't quite enough to capture the zone itself, but that wasn't really what they were using it for most of the time. As we saw in this replay right here, they used it a little bit more aggressively to take that space where a couple players were congregated and to keep them out of where they wanted to be. Here, those Tri-Strikes from Ashley were perfect for holding onto the zone when it looked like Killer Blues might be taking it.
100%. Doesn't matter if you don't get a kill. You're using it to create space. Maybe just trying to be the spearhead of your push, trying to find a way in. And I would envision it would probably continue here on Game 2, Crab-Leg Capital Rainmakers, the theme of this map being those deadly greats. And we did see a brush coming out from Chai on the side of Killer Blues, so maybe a little bit more leeway there in terms of spaces to take around. I mean, obviously Brush doesn't lose that much speed, if even any speed. I don't think they lose any speed if you just run over the grates. So really just playing that kind of assassination role here, especially since now you don't have to worry about a objective that is just stationary. You can really be that catalyst for your team and maybe get an assassinating pick onto the Rainmaker.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And as we move into Game 2, do you think these teams are going to go left side or right side? Because both of them definitely are viable in some situations and to some extent.
I mean, I feel like left side, at least from what I've seen, has been like the more slightly. It is very slightly, at least in my opinion, the safer choice. Because it's right in front of you. You can see a path to it. You really just need to take that ledge away and really just push in. You really want to get some players, like we saw. I mean, you can maybe get the Dapples up there if you're on the side of Epsilon Dragons in a good position. Get some maybe get some evening picks, just have that man advantage so you can put that left side. Right side is also another viable option. It's just a little bit more difficult, obviously, because you do have to elevate, you have to go upwards, and that might leave you vulnerable to some shots, people jumping down there. But anyways, enough speculation here. I believe we're running pretty similar comps here, except I believe Epsilon Dragons is switching away from the Dapples and just going vanilla dualies.
Yeah, and Tipo going from the Rapid Deco to the Rapid Pro Deco as well. So the pop, it looks like it went to Killer Blues, although the paint in mid is pretty evenly split, with 2 go down on Killer Blues and 1 down on Epsilon Dragons. Dragon has to back up here. Now that is a little confusing, Dragon being on Killer Blues. Trying to shoot over the top there, not able to take Epsilon Dragons player as they go into that first checkpoint. They do get it very quickly here. Nox trying to get something done in mid, but being looked at by 3 at least of the players on Epsilon Dragons.
Yeah, taking these advantageous fights and continuingly, Epsilon Dragons are on a roll now. They have that first checkpoint. Now you have this player on the right side of the shot, just trying to see if they can make something happen here. But the Greats are so deadly for that reason. They leave you so exposed to people just shooting from underneath it here. Now you see Chai trying to get a backstab action going, managing to find 1, managing to find 2, actually a great flank by Chai. Now that opens the doors for Killer Blues to retake mid here. However, it is still up in the air to if they will be able to pop that Rainmaker, because Chai does get taken down, but the Rainmaker bubble is popped in Killer Blues' favor.
Yeah, really good timing there on that flank, and now with 3 down on the side of Killer Blues, on Epsilon Dragons, I mean, Killer Blues are taking it over the top right. It might be a little bit harder to get to that checkpoint in the first place, but once you're there, it's a very defensible position, and even though Dragon's the only one left alive, they look like they want to pick up the Rainmaker and take it, but they aren't quite able to get on there, as Epsilon Dragons just barely hold on to the lead.
Yeah, I like to call the right side path, after the first checkpoint is popped, I'd like to call that no man's land. It is such a long path you have to walk with the Rainmaker without being able to get into squid form. It's so much great that you have to walk through that you basically are just a sitting duck there at the mercy of the enemies. But hold on, we're seeing 2 players alive for Epsilon Dragons, yet they're still managing to push forward, knocking it down to 16. They got wiped out, sure, but I'm sure they are happy with that result any day.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Killer Blues got caught sleeping there, as they weren't really looking at the Rainmaker, which is really the most important thing to be looking at in this game mode. Now, they are once again going on the top right. The thing is, it can be pretty advantageous to go this way, because it's hard for the defending team to get in there, unless you have something like that, where that Rapid Blaster Pro Deco is able to just take out the Rainmaker already weakened in 1 shot. And if you have something like a shield, splash wall, umbrella, anything of that sort can help you get in there. Trying to dive in and clear the way, not quite able to do it, forcing Spectre to drop, but it does leave the Rainmaker up there, which might even be a benefit for Killer Blues if they're able to get the picks.
Indeed, but those picks need to land. You have the Super Chumps coming out just to try to create a little bit of space. Nox will take the 1-for-1 trade. However, Killer Blues does go 3 down, and that is a wipeout. What a hold by Epsilon Dragons. They were able to use those Greats to their advantage, and now it's their turn to push yet again. However, with 2 minutes left, they can maybe start slowing down the game a little bit here, as they don't really have to get in a push. However, they are trying all as they might as they try to go on that right side. However, the Rainmaker does get taken out there, so now an opportunity for Killer Blues to recollect themselves here, but so far, Epsilon Dragons have been looking good.
Yeah, something to note here is that Epsilon Dragons are running a Tacticooler and Killer Blues are not, which means that in those intense fights that last for multiple respawns, that will gradually give Epsilon Dragons the advantage, as more and more time Killer Blues have to wait the whole respawn timer before getting in, and they have a little bit of quick respawn on their gear, but not across the board and not to a great extent. So Epsilon Dragons, because they were able to hold that position there, they did a great job of preventing Killer Blues from steamrolling them. But there's that Zuka and that Whale, coming out, forcing Spectro to drop out of position with the Rainmaker and goes down to a bomb, it looks like.
A well-placed bomb indeed there. Now an opportunity for Epsilon Dragons to continue this. Now with 45 seconds left, they're definitely thinking just play keep away at this point, as all the pressure is on Killer Blues. You're already up 1-0 in the set. It is now Killer Blues' turn to take the fight to you, and they are doing that and just waiting to see what Killer Blues will do. You see the Zipcaster going out, actually managing to find 1 there. The Rainmaker will be reset. 2 Epsilon Dragon members are down, and they will force out the jump there. So now they're basically, you can consider it being wiped now. 20 seconds left. This will be the final hold, the final push. As Nox is already up so far with this crab.
Yeah, Nox is up there with the crab, and Chai getting a pick with that rush, but now being the only one left alive, Epsilon Dragons are easily able to pop the Rainmaker. Chai is in there, does not get the pick, but oh, someone else does. I think that was Nox jumping in. somehow saving overtime. There's a crab coming out that they need to get rid of. They do manage to do so. They also want to get this Rainmaker. The shield is going away. Spectro dives in and manages to pick it up to hold on to overtime. There's still all 4 players alive on Epsilon Dragons. 1 go down on each team, 2 go down on each team. Those trades won't be enough for Killer Blues to get in. They're getting pinched from left and from the right side. There's one diving in, and Killer Blues still holding on to the Rainmaker. They want to keep it up there, but no, they don't. Epsilon Dragons take the set.
Yeah, high stakes situation. That is always a hard situation to get yourself up, get out of down in a Rainmaker overtime. Any mistake really from the side of Killer Blues would have spelled the end, and that's just how it is sometimes. I mean, you had the Zuka, you had these players jumping in and just trying to poke at the Rainmaker until it eventually died, and there's just not much you can really do about it. But that was just really well played on Epsilon Dragons, and that great effort that they had when they only had half their team members alive. This is including the Rainmaker, just the Rainmaker and 1 other player. They were able to take that left side and be able to take this lead, which they were able to comfortably play with only 2 minutes left. They just played the rest of the game just playing keep away.
Yeah, and it was a really good, really opportunistic play there from, I think it was Ashley, who was carrying the Rainmaker to that 16-point mark. Seeing that the rest of the defending team, Killer Blues, wasn't looking, being able to get a path down of Ink and just go straight forward as far as possible to score as many points as possible.
Yes, and with that honor of winning against Killer Blues, they move to the next round to face Rich Orange Kois, who just came off a very close match against Krillstreak. They're managing to win in a very close 2-1 set, but that is not what we're going to be looking at next. We're going to be looking at the top of semis here, where Aurora is already waiting, but they're still waiting to see who their opponent is between Koa is mid versus Male Valent Cooler.
Ooh. Yeah, we saw Malevolent Cooler in the first round of the bracket when they took a win over the river and through the beach. We had Malevolent Cooler playing Wiper, playing Wiper and a Custom Blaster, as well as switching around a few of their other players on different weapons.
Indeed, and we will be taking a very momentary break before this because I believe that match is still ongoing, so we will be right back here shortly for semifinals. Remember, semifinals is where we start our best of 5, so we'll be seeing a lot more intense matches, but we'll be right back here shortly.
My husband always equated her behavior to jealousy because she never had healthy relationships. After that tantrum, she skipped our wedding, baby shower, our children's birthday parties, and other family events that we attended. I was fine with extending invitations because I knew she wasn't going to show up. She had some sort of mental breakdown and was in and out treatment for years. I wish nothing but the best for her, and I don't know what kind of issues she's going through, but I don't want her disrupting our peace. I'm currently pregnant and our baby shower is at the end of this month. I'm having it a few months early because I'm at risk for going into labor early, like I did with my other 2 children. My mother-in-law called to our SVP and stated Tina would be riding with him and if it was okay if she brought her new boyfriend. I was surprised because we hadn't seen her in years, but I was apprehensive to agree. Eventually, I did agree and hoped that she resolved whatever caused her so much distress when she was around my family. Well, it took all of 24 hours for her to start her nonsense. She texted my husband paragraphs at 3 a.m. telling him how she felt about our family. First, she went on to say how much she missed them being close and how I came in and destroyed their close relationship, when I barely said 50 words to her in 9 years. She asked him if he was happy with his life because again, he used to say he never wanted kids or to get married. She then asked if he thought about her all this time and if he could meet up with him before the shower and talk alone, face to face. That was the last straw for me. I asked my husband if he knew she was in love with him and he just shrugged out. Said he didn't doubt my theory. Apparently, when she was 11, she asked if they could cuddle and kiss and he said no. He admits her behavior since then has always been weird and dramatic, but he didn't pay her much attention because there were many siblings and they all hung out all the time. I asked him if he could uninvite her and his new boyfriend because I think she's going to bring drama to our baby shower. He said he wants to talk to his parents first to see what kind of state she's been in, but I know in my gut that she's ready to ruin our day with the theatrics. So am I the a-hole for wanting to uninvite her to the baby shower? Am I the a-hole if I uninvite my sister-in-law who's in love with my husband? My husband and I met each other at a ski lodge 9 years ago. I was with my young daughter and a female friend and her child. My husband was with his 2 brothers and 3 sisters and a few friends. There was a singing competition and both of us were set up by our friends to enter. Sparks flew during our duet and the rest is history. This was the first time I caught on to my sister-in-law's disturbing behavior. After the singing competition, he and I went to the cafe to chat. His middle sister, Tina, who was adopted at birth, came storming up to us and demanded we come back to their group. She never looked at me and whined when he shut her down. little sister, Tina, who was adopted at birth, came storming up to us and demanded he come back to their group. She never looked at me and whined when he shut her down. She ran off crying and apparently took her sister's room keycards and locked them out so they had to stay with the friends in their room. Fast forward to when we bought a house together. We had a housewarming and invited family and close friends. Tina showed up in an S-side club outfit. She ignored me the entire time and hung all over my husband, boyfriend at the time. She kept recalling tales of them when they were little and how close they were. She'd kiss him on the cheek, hug him, and touched his arm when laughing. He was visibly uncomfortable, so I stepped in. At first, I just thought she had a crush on him, but the way she was acting looked like she was the girlfriend and not me. She was going around telling everyone that he used to say he never wanted to have kids, but now he's playing daddy to my daughter. One of my friends said she thought Tina was weird for talking about how hot his modeling photos were when he did print work back in college, and that her favorite photo was of them at a beach in Hawaii during a family vacation a few years back. The most bizarre thing she told a few people was that he had never dated a woman of color before, and now all of a sudden he's in love. It's only bizarre to me because she's biracial, so I don't know why this would bother her, unless she's jealous of me because she wished she were me. Then things go south at the end of the night when he gets down on one knee and proposes to me. She started crying and ran to the restroom. Their dad went to check on her and then drove her home. I knew exactly why she was upset, but my husband always equated her behavior to jealousy because she never had healthy relationships. After that tantrum, she skipped our wedding, baby shower.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From the Ink Up number 70, brought to you by Under Pressure. Once again, I am Squidoku, and I am here with Rocket. We are bringing you the semifinals of Gold Bracket here in From the Ink Up. We have moved on from best of 3 sets to best of 5.
Indeed, so now longer matches, potentially longer sets, and maybe a little bit more storylines. This is where you can really see major comebacks, back and forth. It's just all the good stuff here. And now we're seeing our number 1 seed versus our 5 seed, and we're looking at Koa is mid as our 1 seed. Taking a look at these players in terms of what they play, I do see Pumpkin Cheesecake is a junior 1 trick. Taking a look at the other players, we might see Bread on Roller, we might be seeing some other stuff like that. Maybe even Dooley Jet Squelchers I'm seeing on Koa there, the namesake of the team there. Taking a look at the other side for Aurora, you're seeing some backline players. I'm seeing E-Leader with Stormy as well, so that could be some interesting interactions.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. And neither of these teams coming in here with a flawless record, both dropping a game to 2 separate teams in the group stage on their way to Gold Bracket, but also both getting a bye in the first round of the bracket, and then winning their next set 2-0 to face off against one another in here.
Indeed. And now let's shift our focus a little bit over to the map mode here. It is Tower Control Shipshape Cargo, which is a very interesting map mode indeed, obviously. The thing that always pops into my mind about this map, it's on replay over and over and over, and I keep mentioning it, but it never really comes up until the second checkpoint, is the distance between the first and second checkpoint, but the second checkpoint in itself is such a chokeholdy point on this map.
Yeah, it is. Personally, one weapon that I enjoy playing here on Shipshape is Jet Squelcher, more so in zones than on Tower, but even on Tower, I think Jet really loves all of the distances between important positions on here and is able to really make the most of the angles and using its mobility to get from one good backline position to another.
Indeed, and now we're just going to jump straight into things. Game number 1 of this 5-game set. Let's see what these 2 teams have in store for us here. Taking a look, Bread will be going with that Roller, and we see Pencil, Gao, and Splash. Taking a look at the other side, no E-Leader coming out, but we do see Double Bucket, which is very interesting because you don't usually see Dredge being run on Tower Control maps because Reslider isn't exactly the best on Tower Control maps, but maybe just using it to take space.
Yeah, and speaking of taking space, Aurora do put some red magenta ink around the tower, but it doesn't last for very long as Koa is mid will do get the first real tower control here in this tower control. They have a bubble ready to go, and Red is jumping back to the tower, looking like probably going to put that bubble onto the tower. Yep, there they go. They do use it just as the tower finishes it, but it isn't on the tower. In fact, it is a little bit ahead of it, and allowing the tower to get past the checkpoint and get a little bit further before the bubble goes away. However, even as they do get that far to 49 points remaining, they don't quite make it to the second checkpoint. A few go down, the rest jump out, and that gives room for Aurora to set up once again. They try to push the pencil that Bucket does, but it doesn't quite work. As that Bucket goes down, the Slosher goes down, and another going down on the side of Koa is mid, though. The pencil as well. They do go 2 down, but Aurora don't quite manage to make the most of it just yet. Even with that brief numbers advantage they have, they aren't quite taking the tower.
Yeah, you just have this, you have so much pressure that Koa's putting on, but eventually that pressure is going to give, and now an opportunity for Aurora to move in. However, you have to worry about Bread on that roller, is lurking very close to the tower, will get traded out, actually. Stormy is taken out by Koa's pencil, and now an opportunity for the, now an opportunity for Koa's mid to move in, especially with this cooler being placed. However, the pressure is on for Aurora as they throw out some trip strikes, and still it is heavily contested in mid here. Neither team has really gained a true advantage in terms of it, but as soon as I say that, 3 members of Aurora pop, and now Koa have an opportunity to move in.
Yeah, that one tri-strike from, I believe it was Koa is mid on the tower, forcing the rest of Aurora to take a step off of it and take a step back. That really stalled out their momentum. And now here is another set of tri-strikes coming out from Layden Jr., their Neo Splash player, and having those regular tri-strikes, especially with a main of special charge up, means that they are really going to want to stall that tower and to push the tower themselves at every opportunity. There is a great pick from that 52 gal, but now Bread on the tower with the bubble is going to try to use it to take that second checkpoint and maybe even steamroll all the way to the goal.
Yeah, and now taking this space, this is a key position for Bread, and just like that, that is a wipe out in favor of Koa's mid. That could be the dagger right there, unless any player of Aurora has anything to say about it. No, there isn't any contest, and Koa is mid. A well-timed wipe out there, great plays from Bread and the rest of them, and they take game 1 pretty comfortably.
Yeah, if Koa really is mid, I don't know what that says about the rest of the team, but we'll see. Oh, it looks like, do all 4 of them have the matching emotes? Yes, all 4 of them with the matching emotes, and there's the fist bump at the end. Yeah, a very good knockout win here for Koa is mid in the first game of this set.
Indeed, and way to set the pace of things as well. Bread's roller really being, I mean, the shining star there, like I mentioned, being able to take this advantageous position and get those opening picks. Roller is such a really good weapon that you just cannot approach by yourself. You have to have some tools to really play around it. You have to play around the weapon, and that's what is just like, that's just how it is sometimes. You have to play around these closer range weapons, and you need to get them out of the picture before you can move on. I like the sorry, the image took me off guard there of the logo. But anyways, moving now to Humpback Pump Track. I'm imagining Brett is going to be running it back with that roller, because I mean, if there's any map to use it on, it'd be Humpback Pump Track. But I'd also envision Aurora would be probably running that double bucket again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. Not sure if they'll keep Stormy on the Rapid Pro Deco here, because this is a little bit maybe of a weaker map for it, I think. But if that's what they're used to, it could absolutely work, and we still just have to see.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping to see some Stormy E-Leader action, because I remember them, because like I mentioned before at the beginning of the set, Stormy is normally an E-Leader player, so I found it a little bit surprising that they didn't run it. But again, maybe just trying to play to the comp, maybe they are more comfortable with it than I might think here. But Aurora running back the same comp, and actually no, that's not Aurora, excuse me, that is Koa's mid. And on the other side, Aurora is running a slightly different comp. Stormy will now be running the Hydra, and that is a very interesting choice here for the Booyah Bomb, but I think it's a good choice no matter what.
Yeah, it is an identical comp to the first game here for Koa is mid, but it looks like Aurora do get that first pop even as the tri-strikes are coming out. Aurora are able to avoid it. There is that 52 gal on the side of Koa is mid going down. and I believe that is Pumpkin Cheesecake, who is the 52 gal. But they do go down yet again here, even though there is a cooler up for both of these teams. Pocky picks up the Rainmaker, does a little move around it, and isn't able to get up on top of that podium, and isn't able to break the checkpoint here. The rest of Aurora are able to get in there, though. They do have enough paint onto the Rainmaker shield, and they manage to quickly get that checkpoint for themselves. But again, going 3 down here, they have that Reef Slider ready to go, but it isn't enough here, and Koa is mid do manage to regain a bit of their control, a bit of their balance here. They try to take the Rainmaker. It doesn't quite go well as they try to rush it in like that.
Yeah, Stormy, a great shot there, managing to mow down that Rainmaker. Now an opportunity for Aurora to maybe hunker down a little bit. But hold on, we're seeing Aurora actually try to take the Rainmaker away. However, 2 players go down for them. So now an opportunity for Koa to move in, especially since it's just left to the Dread on the side of Aurora to try to defend this checkpoint. The bubble is there, and the checkpoint will be had by Koa is mid. Now, will they be able to continue that? The trip tricks are going out for Koa is mid, but the Re-Slider is still there. The lead will be had, though.
Yeah, excuse me, I stand corrected. That is Koa on the 52 gal, I believe. So now we need to see these 2 teams going at it. We see that Koa is mid still. They managed to take the lead there, but Aurora, don't let them take it very much. So Aurora, they will have plenty of room if they want to make another push here, which of course they will. They will have room to take the lead back for themselves. It will be pretty easy for them to do so if they're able to get into position to do it. But with Bread sharking there, looking to make something happen, able to do so, and so Koa is mid only go 1 down to the 2 down on Aurora. But Aurora do still have that Reef Slider ready. Oh, I stand corrected immediately.
A really well-placed suction bomb. It was almost hidden to me. Like, I almost forgot about it there, but just when I realized it was still sticking to that cooler, it just blew up. But still, you have the Reef Slider available because the cooler was used. However, the Trip Tricks are going out now for Aurora just to try to retake mid here. Hydra's Booyah is also available, so you have a lot of space-taking specials available for Aurora if they play their cards right. However, you do have to worry about that roller bubble and the Trip Strikes on the other side for Koa's mid. The Booyah will go out for Stormy here trying to take space, but the counter Trip Strikes are there, and they actually find the Rainmaker on the side of Aurora. So now their push is halted ever so slightly here, but still, it is heavily contested in mid.
Yeah, interesting. No Object Shredder on the Hydra, but oh, a bit of a sneak play from Brett there, but it gets snuffed out immediately, and the Rainmaker only gets to 51 here. That being said, it is still an increase of the lead, and they pop the Rainmaker again. They do try to go for it from further, and they do manage to get a little bit more progress here. However, considering the position the Rainmaker is in, it is a very quick shot here for them to take it up the right side as one usually expects. Stormy there picking up the Rainmaker and playing the backline role still with it as the rest of the team tries to fight out in front. Bread coming in with the roller, able to get a pick on to the Slosher player, and now Pocky going down as well means the Rainmaker is a little bit stranded there and not really able to move forward like they would want to. They still have plenty of time left before it explodes, but now with Nico Lime out there on the side, able to get that pick with a bit of help from the team, it looks like, and getting another one. The Aurora have a long way to go, and they get wiped out instead of making any progress.
Yeah, now this is pressure on Aurora. Koa can really sit here, play keep away. Bread is going to be super good in these positions. Roller just thrives in waiting for your opportunity to strike. However, they do go down there. The Dread will get traded out on the other side. You see now both sides losing 1 player, so now we're just reset to a little bit of neutral here, just waiting to see what Aurora will do as their final move. A great pick onto the Gal will start things well. However, they do have to pick up that Rainmaker, but 2 go down to Bread's Roller, just camping that ledge, and now Koa will take the Rainmaker. However, quickly taken away from them by Aurora. However, they need to get this. They need to get this Rainmaker now. The Trip Strikes are going out, but the Rainmaker's running away. It is running for the hills, trying to save this round for Koa, and they will prevent the comeback attempt from Aurora. Koa on a hot streak now, up 2-0 in the set.
Yeah, Koa is mid, taking that second win puts them in a great position, even though this was a relatively low-scoring game for Humpback Rainmaker in particular. Most of the fighting just happening in mid and full of trades going back and forth. Another fist bump there between Bread and Nico Lime. some great plays here, especially from Bread, able to really hold that defense. There's that double there right at the end, putting Koa is mid in such a strong position and allowing them to pick up the Rainmaker. Nico does go down for a moment, but being able to pick up the Rainmaker once again, that is Layden Jr., I believe, who picked it up, and that allows them to take the game safely and prevent an overtime and bring a 2-0 lead into Game 3.
Yeah, Red has been such an issue for Aurora that now you might think that they need to focus that player. They need to get that roller out of position because it can be really, really effective at just as like a weapon that just waits for an opportunity to strike. And on a map that is coming up next, our Game 3, Splat Zones Mahi Mahi, this map can be one of those maps where you do not want to push onto a roller. It is very notorious for lockout situations. You have all those ledges. You have to drop down into the zone that you need to so you need to definitely clear out that roller. But yet again, I think that the double bucket comp could theoretically work for Aurora if they do choose to do it, because I mean trip strikes are good, they're always good, and Reef Slider on Mahi Mahi, I think this is one of the best maps for Reef Slider.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Mahi Mahi, spot zones, Reef Slider is good.
It is indeed, but maybe we could see a little bit of changes. However, we do see them ready up fairly quickly here, but I'm curious to see if there are any changes. Stormy's Hydra did work effectively in terms of preventing the Rainmaker from going much further. However, it could be used here just as a panning weapon here. Never mind, we're seeing a little bit of a switch up here. The Knot will be brought out. Stormy will be going back onto the Rapid Blaster, and a Splatana will be played. Aurora basically changing their entire comp minus that zap. On the other side, Koa is mid, sticking with the same stuff.
Yeah, they are sticking with the same stuff, but they aren't the first team to take the zone, and in fact going 2 down at first as Aurora get control here. And of course, just capturing the zone first isn't really enough to really secure control here, but the fact that they're able to get the splats and hold the zone even almost all the way to the point where the water level drops, and there it goes, they still have the zone. It isn't fully painted in their colors, so it is at risk of getting neutralized if they don't repaint it here. Squire could be doing that, but is choosing not to, holding a charge on that Nautilus, which is a bit of a change from what we saw before. A pretty significant comp change here with the Nautilus and the Stamper.
Indeed, now an opportunity for Koa's mid to really dig in here. Remember, now the pressure's on Aurora. The comeback can be possible for Koa is mid. They just need to maybe win 1 or 2 more team fights, especially if Aurora go 3 down there. A great defense so far by Koa's mid. Can they keep it up is the question. This is the position you want your roller to be in, under this ledge. You see Brett already taking that position, managing to find that knot. It is such a deadly weapon in these situations. Now Aurora try to make their move here if they want to keep this lead, but it doesn't look to be the case, at least so far, as the trip strikes are going in from Koa's mid.
Yeah, and that is the lead for Koa is mid, and with there's only being less than 30 points left on their timer, that is not a lot of time for Aurora to take it back. They do have that Inkstorm coming in to put some paint on the zone, but it's not enough unless 3 down on the side of Koa is mid means that Aurora looking for that last pick. That is Sugi there looking for the pick on the Stamper, and that does allow Aurora to take the zone and prevent them from getting knocked out just yet.
Yeah, they still have some life in them yet, but Aurora have weapons as well to keep this lockout situation themselves. You see the Nautilus taking a position, but I was more referring to the Splatana and the Rapid Blaster as well, being able to poke from those ledges. However, we do see Koa's mid pushing in with the bubble, with the space created there. They are all on that left side there. You see so much yellow on that side. You see the rain coming out though from the side of Aurora just to try to see if they can keep paint. You see the cooler out for Aurora as well. They are putting in a lot of resources to hold it, and it is working out so far. They are almost out of their penalty here.
Yeah, and they are looking to take that penalty away and take this to a Game 4 at least. They will need to finish painting up the zone, and they do manage to do so. They have a player down. They're going 2, 3 down, and Sugi hasn't necessarily come back in there, or rather, I should say, Squire on the Nautilus. But now Koa is mid, looking to hold control of the zone once again. They don't need to control it for as long to turn this into a knockout at this point.
Indeed, here they can really just keep away. Yet again, I feel like I've said that over and over again, but really, Koa, this is where they like to thrive. They are putting all the pressure on Aurora to make them move. The Zipcaster is available no longer as this Gal managed to find 2 for Koa, now 3. That could be the dagger there. You have the Nautilus Rain, I believe, being denied as well. Now Koa just have to wait for these members of Aurora to see if they can dive onto the point. Now 5 ticks. The Gal will take a 1-for-1 trade. 2 players are down for Aurora. It won't be enough from Pocky to paint the zone, and Koa in a commanding fashion sweep this series and move on to finals.
Yeah, and Koa is mid. This is, while under a different name, this is the same team that took second place from the Wing Cup number 69. And so they will be looking to return to Grand Finals and take the W this time around. Aurora, they have been into Gold Bracket before, but previously their peak was 5th place. So even getting this far is a new best for this team, and they will be looking to finish on the podium in the 3rd place match.
Indeed. However, the matchup or who is going to be facing either team, whether it be in Grand Finals or being in 3rd place, has not been decided yet. However, Rich Orange Kois is up 2-1 against Epsilon Dragons, who we just saw on stream earlier, beat Killer Blues. So definitely something we're going to be keeping our eye on. However, we're going to be taking our final break for this edition of FTIU. So we'll be right back here shortly for our Grand Finals of Gold Bracket. We are here for the conclusion of FTIU Week 70, and we have our 1 and 2 seeds. Maybe not a surprise to some of you, but a little bit of a surprise to me in terms of how Epsilon Dragons got here. They overcame a 1-2 deficit over RIT Orange Kois, who I was mentioning at the beginning of this was leading that set, but a comeback was had, and now Epsilon Dragons are here to face the number 1 seed Koa is mid. And we've seen both these teams already on stream, and they were both really dominant in their sets, so I'm really intrigued to see how this one's going to turn out.
Yeah, me too. We have the 1 seed Koa is mid. They have been to this point before. Under a different name, they were the second place team last time out in FTIU number 69. And Epsilon Dragons are no stranger from the finals as well. At least 2 of them in the form of Little Squid Dragons. Lou and Ashley they placed second in FTIU number 68. So both of these teams have experience making it to finals. Maybe not necessarily the full rosters, but both of them are ready to fight for the trophy.
Sure, you have the experience like you just mentioned, but now you have the previous knowledge and previous experience of having a little bit of, maybe at this point you have still energy, you still have stuff in the tank left to put it all out there. This is the last set of this entire tournament, so maybe some people may be fatigued usually during these points, but I'm sure not these teams. They have been hungry, and like you mentioned, some of these players have been here before. They might have not gotten the job done, but this is another opportunity for them to do so, and it will start all on the sandbox map I like to call of Splatoon 3. Splatoon 3 mode. Here we have Hagglefish Splat Zones.
Yeah, and there is one more thing I want to say about these 2 teams going in. They might be a little fatigued. However, both of them did have buys in their group stage as the 1 and 2 overall seed. We didn't have a clean multiple of 4 for the number of teams. So these 2 had the privilege of getting buys in the group stage. In addition, they both got buys in the gold bracket as well, which means each of these teams has only played 4 sets tonight to this point. But Koa is mid. They haven't lost a game in the bracket yet, but they did take their group stage sets 2-1 each. Epsilon Dragons, on the other hand, they went 3-0 both times in the group stage and had a 2-0 in the bracket, but this time they took a pretty close, pretty tense 3-2 all the way to Game 5 set against RIT Orange Kois. So these teams have had slightly different routes to get here, and this may have, I guess, worn them out differently.
Yeah, and when we usually get to finals, we usually have a team that might have the hot hand. They might be on a streak of winning, but when you take a look at it, really, both teams are pretty even in terms of how dominant they've been. I mean, you mentioned they're just different paths, slightly different, but moving on here, we'll be seeing game 1 here. I believe Koa is mid, just running the same comp they've usually been running on the other side. Same thing, pretty signature what we saw on stream earlier from both these teams. Let's see how it unfolds.
Let us see. Yeah, we have seen pretty consistent stuff from these teams before. Interesting with Arachno on the Splat dualies here, as Koa is mid are the first to take the zone, but of course they don't really take full control of it. It gets neutralized after just 3 ticks, but now Koa is mid looking to push forward, getting that Splat onto Arachno, but Koa themselves does go down to Ashley here, who is looking to prevent a flank from the right side, forcing that player to jump out. Now there's a special coming out from Tipo's Rapid Blaster Deco as Epsilon Dragons take their first capture of this game.
Yeah, Tipo's going to be a key player for Epsilon Dragons to counter, and Koa is mid, especially Bread. We've seen how dominant Bread has been on Roller. They cannot be left unchecked if they want to succeed here. You see Koa is mid. Now with the strip strikes you saw earlier popping in, now have control of the zone with cooler as well. You see the counter trip strikes going in. You saw the crab initially pop, but not finding much here. You see the dualies going in, though, maybe trying to make something happen. However, players are falling from both sides as both sides lose 2 players here. The zone is still in favor of Koa's mid, still strongly in their side as that pencil is still alive. You see the flank, though, coming up from that left side. Won't quite find much, but the crab is there for Epsilon Drags just to try to maintain space.
Oh yeah, Arachno gets surrounded though and taken out as Koa as mid continue to take down points on the zone. They do have pretty strong painting weapons with that Neo Splash and that Pencil. Not as much from Epsilon Dragons really, and they're going to need all the paint they can get if they want to take this game, but they do manage with 2 from that 3 from the Inkjet as Epsilon Dragons take the zone, and this could be a swing into their favor.
Hippo's jetpack on point there. The 3rd kill, probably the most impressive of that, managing to hit a nice flick direct there. Now an opportunity, like you said, to turn this entire game on its head. However, you have to worry about this tri-strikes. You need to trade specials with specials. You have the cooler. You have the crab available now. This crab needs to get some value. Quickly taken out by the sniper rider though, but the follow-up is there. You do see the trip strikes being used already by Epsilon Dragons just to try to maintain this. Bread will find one, quickly traded out though, but the zone's still heavily contested here. It is just an all-out turf war. Finally, Koa is mid, will take control of it, forcing the penalty.
Yeah, that trade from Bread, and even with Koa going down and putting that paint on the zone, that still wasn't enough for Epsilon Dragons to take it. But Tipo coming in again, looking for more with that Inkjet, getting a little bit more, able to get 1. But now the rest of the team does go down, and so Epsilon Dragons do not have the power to hold the zone here, and Koa is mid take it back once again.
Indeed here. Now an opportunity for Koa's mid to put on the pressure. They have the pressure, of course. Wow, 3 players down. Fall for Epsilon Dragons there. A little bit of a setback. They need to take care of Bread. Bread is taken care of now. You have to clear out the rest of their base. You see the gal lurking in the left side, just waiting for an opportunity to strike. That opportunity is now. Will the flank be found out, however? Will it be found? No. 1 falls. The crab might fall as well. That is a key flank, maybe 3 as well, but the trip strikes are there. Now this one-on-one Tipo. The gal finds 3, and that will do it there. Koa is mid. Off of the triple, Epsilon Dragons got off of Tipo. Looks like they were back in it, but countering with a triple of their own. Koa managing to even things up, and now we are 1-0 with Koa is mid on top.
Yeah, I don't know if Koa is mid. Koa certainly wasn't in mid at the ends there.
No, definitely not. They showed why. I mean, yeah, like you said, they are not mid at all. I mean, that flank, just the perfect moment, not getting too nervous, not getting too antsy, not just jumping the gun, just the perfect moment to find 2, especially getting that crab eliminated as well. What a flank that was. So now they'll try to see if they can carry that over to game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the wipeout at the end to tie it all off.
Indeed here, and now we're taking a look at our second map here, Rainmaker Museum. Based on what we've seen so far between these teams, I mean, in terms of their weapons, we got a little bit of a refresher onto what both these teams like to run. Any interesting points or thoughts in terms of what we might expect from these 2 teams in terms of Rainmaker Museum?
I'm not entirely sure. We do see the weapons that they have listed over here. We're probably going to see them try to prioritize weapons that can really paint the shield and pop the shield, but on Museum, it also really helps to be able to push past the checkpoint and just get as much distance as possible. I assume Koa is going to stick with the 52 gal here because that's what we've been seeing from them all day. And I think that's going to be pretty good for them, having that splash wall especially.
Yeah, and especially as well, Bread, we know time and time again, is running roller, so that roller not creating space in itself, but also that bubble. On the side of Epsilon Dragons, on the other hand, Tipo, I would like the choice of the Rapid again. I mean, you saw how well the Jet was able to do. I mean, hell, it was able to get 3 there and be able to maybe put in some pressure, maybe even snipe the Rainmaker if given the opportunity. But it's still only game 2, so even if you go down 1-0 in the set, it's okay. Now you have an opportunity. You have that experience. You know what the other team likes to run, and Koa's mid still running the same thing. On the other side for Epsilon Dragons, a switch over to the blue Dapple duel is interesting for that Reef Slider.
Yeah, and running some, not running the special charge up, but running that quick respawn and comeback with those blue Dapples, that does allow Epsilon Dragons to get the first pick here, or rather the first spot of the Rainmaker. Bread here sharking over on the side, waiting for something to happen, but getting impatient maybe, not wanting to wait any longer, able to pick up that Rainmaker, looking to get something done. Doesn't quite manage to jump out safely as 2 go down on the side of Koa is mid. Epsilon Dragons pick up the Rainmaker, use that Reef Slider to take another one out. There's a little bit of a wall in the way. Tipo managing to survive that curling bomb. That could have gone very differently there, but that does allow Epsilon Dragons to get the first checkpoint 45 seconds in, and they are in position to keep it going, but the tri-strikes prevent it from going past the 39-point remaining mark.
I mean, 1 minute through, that is a hell of a first push right there from Epsilon Dragons. Now Koa's mid need to respond in kind. You see the members of Epsilon Dragons maybe trying to see if they can get some cheeky little picks here. You have Bread with the bubble available if they so choose to use it here on the ramp, maybe trying to create some space. I actually choose to use it near the mid spinner on this right side just to try to retake control of mid for Koa is mid. Now an opportunity for Koa is mid to get back in there. A great pick onto Tipo. 2 players down for Epsilon Dragons. Bazooka is still in play, so they have to worry about that if they want to push forward here, but so far so good for Koa's mid.
There's the Zuka coming out, but it doesn't get anything done in time. In fact, nothing at all. And in fact, they go down for it. Ashley goes down instead of getting any picks. The Rainmaker gets dropped back into mid a little bit by Layden Jr., who is the one holding it. And in fact, those Dapples from Arachno take out Layden Jr. and prevent that push from continuing, as well as taking Nikolai, looking for more, getting an assist and helping to distract the 4th player who was there. And that prevents Koa is mid from extending their push any bit right now.
Yes, Tipo's jet is available, and they so choose to use it here. However, they have to worry about those trip strikes coming in. The Tipo does fall, but 3 players of Koa's mid fall. Just laid in here on this left side with the junior, or not the junior, the Splash, just trying to stay alive. Will be forced out. So now Epsilon Dragons have an opportunity here to put on more pressure. We're only halfway through this match, and both teams have already pushed through their checkpoints, and this is where the game truly starts now.
Yeah, the Rainmaker is going back to its reset position on top of mid spinner. Tipo getting a clean pick onto Koa, who goes down with 3/4 of their special charged up. Now looking for more in there. There is several over there, all grouped up on that ramp, which is the main way in. And that's 2 going down on the side of Koa is mid in exchange for the Rainmaker. Tipo gets a clean splat onto the pencil, preventing them from coming back with Tacticooler. And so now that the Rainmaker in a bit of a troll spot here, that is not going to be pleasant for Koa is mid. It did get popped though, so if it doesn't get picked up, it'll reset to mid once again. But now they will want to keep it there. Layden Jr., does do the clean Squid Surge to pick it up, and they are the only one left alive. This could be a delayed wipeout, and it is.
It is indeed. So now Epsilon Dragons have a little bit more life. Just trying to go for this spot again. Just trying to put the Rainmaker in uncomfortable positions for Koa's mid. However, the Rainmaker does fall off in that position. So now an opportunity for Koa's mid to go in, especially if 3 players fall. Just Tipo left, and that is a wipeout in favor of Koa is mid. Now having to recollect themselves. 2 specials online. The bubble popped by Bread. The trip strikes now coming out. 1 player's down, and that is the lead. Koa is pushing towards the goal, however, quickly stopped by counter strikes of their own. And now this is dangerous for Epsilon Dragons here. The Rainmaker oh so far up, and now time is ticking down.
Yeah, it was funny when they put it there the first time. I could see what they were going for, but really trying to hold it there without any regard for what was happening around it, that wasn't the play, I think, in finals here with more than a minute to go. Now they have there was plenty of time for Koa's mid to take the lead, and they did. And now Epsilon Dragons are running out of time. Tipo does manage to take out Koa with the Rainmaker, and the pencil does go down as well. Both players are coming in. Red rushing in with that tactical buff there. Half the Rainmaker clock has gone down. Only 20 ticks left on it. Tipo has to get a move on here. Koa is down yet again. Red looking in from the side. There's another pick onto them. There's not enough time here. Only 8 ticks left on the Rainmaker. It might even explode, but no, it doesn't. They are in to defend, and Koa is mid. Take game 2.
What a comeback, though, from Koa is mid. They took that opportunity and they ran with it. I mean, you got that wipeout in mid off of Epsilon Dragon's failed push in mid, and then you just kept the ball rolling. You had the specials advantage, and you knew it. You had Bread's bubble. You had the Neo's trip strikes in such great positions, and you just surged forward there. Great use of them from Koa is mid. If you're on the side of Epsilon Dragons, just a little bit unfortunate. They're losing a little bit of steam at the end for that defense, but you still have one game left. But this needs to be a really good game from you, or your tournament run is over, or your tournament run is done. But I mean, I've seen it happen before where reverse sweeps are possible. So now 2 games in, I'm sure both teams know each other now.
Oh yeah, these teams have had a chance to get a little bit of what the other is bringing along. And so I don't think Epsilon Dragons are going to want to do anything as cheeky as putting the Rainmaker in that spot. Of course, they won't necessarily have such an opportunity in Game 3 here, which from this distance looks like it is, in fact, going to be Slam Blitz on Scorch Gorge.
Slam Blitz Scorch Gorge, another very classic map here. Another map that I think Bread's bubble is going to be super good just to create that space, as well as trip strikes. That's just the key 2 specials that I think of in terms of creating space, trip strikes and bubbles. But we could see Epsilon Dragons continue with the Blue Dapples. The Blue Dapples were the change there instead of the Gal. An interesting choice, but I wouldn't mind them going back to that Gal either for that wall. What do you think?
Oh, because I think it was the Splat Dualies that Arachno had in the previous game. So the wall was only on the side of Koa is mid. But I think the Crab honestly might be the more powerful play, but obviously it just comes down to what the players are strong with and comfortable with, and what they think, what the team thinks will be best, give them the best shot of winning this game.
Yeah, and they need to make it happen now. Epsilon Dragons now down 2-0. Cannot afford any other mistakes in this entire set here, or they are done. So all the pressure on them, but maybe sometimes pressure does make diamonds. So we could see a comeback here, maybe try to manifest it here. I don't know. We'll see here. This is their final stand, possibly. Game 3, Epsilon Dragons will bring out the Nautilus, the Splashdown Nautilus. Interesting.
That is a bit of a swerve, taking Arachno off the Dualies and onto the gold Nautilus. That is not something I would have bet on. But now Tipo is the first to go down here in mid. Red looking to Shark under that ledge that the roller so loves to be at. Although they actually just jumped out there, looking to pick up that Tacticooler before moving back in. Koa has gone down here, but Layden gets a clean pick onto Ashley, as well as continuing to hold that Tacticooler up. There is a power clam so visible, and they do take down Arachno there, who had their back turned, like.
Indeed, you see the trip strikes being bombed, but you see now Koa is up here with the Gal, finding 2, now trying to find more. You see the players falling from Epsilon Dragons. Koa is moving in with their players. You see the pencil already up in a position, just trying to hold the basket open, trying to see if they can hold open the space here. Nico Lime just trying to see if they can find any picks here, but they are forced back eventually, though. There's still Clam falling in. Brett, a great kill onto Tipo before they are forced back, and they managed to escape scot-free with all those clams in hand. The pity will be had from Epsilon Dragon, sure, but what a great push.
Yeah, and getting to the 59-point remaining mark is huge, because it means that just 2 power clams would not be enough to take the lead for Epsilon Dragons here. They'll need more than that. They'll need to put in a real push rather than just a dive. And with 2 players down, they aren't able to do that. They dive in with that power clam anyway. They might be getting a little bit desperate, even though we're barely, not even 2 minutes into this game. Their backs are already against the wall here, and they have a long way to go if they want to claw their way back here.
I mean, no lead is ever safe. The 3 minutes may not seem like a lot of time. That's still plenty of time here. You have the super jump in favor of Koa's mid. The pity is actually picked up by Epsilon Dragons here, maybe trying to just threaten up a little bit here, but they need to first focus on getting this mid control. You need to worry about these players such as Brez, such as Koa on that left side. You see the Trip Strikes finds one, the Nautilus, so they are forced back. Now 3 players fall for Epsilon Dragons, just Tippo left to try to hold the line here, but it won't be enough, at least momentarily, as Koa's mid get the basket open yet again and are now looking to score even more.
Yeah, especially with that Bobbler holding space so effectively for Koa is mid to put in more power clams. Some free clams there that Nikolai easily picks up, but 2 of them both going away to grab more clams here. It might have been that they had a little bit of communication there trying to decide who goes to get him, but now they have enough in their possession to end this tournament right here.
Wow. Just like that. Just like that. Not giving Epsilon Dragons any moment to get back into it. I don't believe Epsilon Dragons even had a step in the side of Epsilon Dragon's side, or of Koa's mid side of the map. I mean, you see a little bit of purple paint over there, sure, but really, Koa is mid. Really well done there, just closing the series, clamping down, saying, all right, enough is enough. We're ending it right here. And I mean, GG's to them. They've been on a dominant run. I mean, they completed the full just undefeated in terms of, if you're just taking a look at the bracket, just completely not even dropping a single match.
Yeah, they had a clean sweep of gold bracket, not losing a single game, only dropping like 1 game to 2 different teams in the group stage, but they showed that their #1 seed was deserved, and congratulations to Koa is mid, lol, you are from the Ink Up champions.
Congratulations indeed, but I mean, I gotta give my props to Epsilon Dragons as well. We did see them earlier on stream, and they are a dominant team, dominant team too. So I'm sure they're satisfied with second place. Obviously, when you are in this position, you want to go for the gold, but I mean, still props to them, props to their players. We saw some amazing plays from them, but I'm sure they'll be back here for sure. They've been in these positions before, so they are a resilient bunch. I'm sure these players will be back as well, but with that, that will probably be the end for us here at Under Pressure. But of course, Squidoku, where can the people find you?
Before I get to that, I do want to contest your claim that they'd be satisfied with second. I don't think anyone would be satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is true. That is
back
true.
back in my FTIU days, I was like, my team did make it to like the top 4 and even to finals a couple of times before we finally won the thing, and we were never satisfied with second. It was always a aim for the trophy, but making progress is really good, and so for a couple of the players on Epsilon Dragons, that is their first time making it to the finals, and so that sort of progress is definitely something to appreciate. But to answer your question, where can the people find me? I am on Blue Sky, where my handle is squidoku.bsky.social. You can also find me on the Fediverse on splatsville.social, where my handle is also squidoku. How about you, Rocket?
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky at Rocket1, and I kind of agree with you in terms of that aspect of like, I see what you mean. Like, I guess what I was trying to say is like, it just gives them more stepping stones and kind of builds the hunger, the competitive fire. But I'm sure that's the case for all teams who participated today in FTIU Week 70, whether it went their way, whether or not. I mean, just building that competitive hunger, that strive to be better is what we love to do here. But anyways, that'll do it for us here for Under Pressure. Thank you to Ellie for being our wonderful streamer in the background. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all to the FTIU staff for working with us, and we will see you in the next one.
Hey, dude, that internet these days is so dope. Hey man, what's up? Hey dude, that internet these days is so sucks, dude. You can just go on the stinging internet, 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 on the stinging internet. Just go on the stinging internet. Hey man, what's up?